Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Professionally Unprofessional podcast. I'm joined once again by my good friends Reese and Elliot.
Hello, everyone.
Flint and Steel.
And while we're on the subject again, I want to start this, even though we got a lot to cover, I want to start this podcast by congratulating Reese on passing his driving theory test.
Woo!
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. So I looked up, 55% of people fail first time.
God help me and Elliot if we want to try that.
Yeah, so I was able to beat the odds.
That's why we need to buy him a chauffeur cap for his birthday. So we got a lot to cover. Weirdly, we're not going to start with the games for once. We're going to start with the movie this time.
All right.
Because I figured it's a talking point. Now, obviously, Reese, that's another reason why I brought up that you passed your driving theory, because you didn't see the movie because you were revising heavy for it.
Yeah, because I passed my exam on Wednesday, so I've not had a chance to see the film.
Elliot, did he have a lucky escape or did he miss out?
Damn right, he had a lucky escape.
Yeah.
But Elliot, it's Jack Black. Everyone loves him in video game adaptations.
Well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. So, okay, I saw this one on opening day of a cinema, in the middle of the day of a cinema mostly filled with families, so I didn't get the meme-ified experience.
I saw it on Wednesday, where I think most of the people in that audience were people like me who knew it was going to be bad. And luckily, I did not see the other people. I was not with the people throwing popcorn everywhere and whatnot.
Oh, thank God for that, because the weird thing about it is, I don't think Minecraft is an interesting enough movie to be meme-ified. It's a really dull movie.
It's a Rise of Minions effect.
I know.
It's a Rise of Minions effect where, like, basically people go in and act incredibly obnoxious because they know it's a bad kids movie.
Yeah, it is and it's a really bad movie because it's in structural thing. There's like no real character arcs. It's just a character arc's kind of brought up, solved like 2 scenes later.
I wouldn't go that far, but it doesn't feel like the solve throughout the story. Is more just like it's here, and then it's done.
Yeah, that was my feeling the whole time watching it. I actually was bored watching this movie.
I wasn't really that bored, mostly because I was just questioning everything.
Just a life in general about why you saw this film.
Yeah, I feel like we should just go straight into spoilers because I think it's quite frank to say we don't recommend this.
No, we don't recommend it.
Just one thing before we do. It actually out-earns the Super Mario film for the domestic opening weekend.
Oh,
yeah, I saw.
That's
It's like the highest grossing video game based film at the box office.
Can I also point out another thing that seems to weirdly happen? Minecraft's usage on Xbox has gone up by about 30%.
Huh.
Since the movie came out. That was bizarre because I thought that okay.
Down.
Okay, let's go into spoilers because correct me if I'm wrong, Elliot. I came out of this movie going, this film wants to be both Ready Player One and the Lego Movie.
I say that the main idea. It feels like the main idea of it was a bunch of people coming to the Minecraft world and just go, hey, that thing's weird. This is weird.
Okay, I will say, Jack Black. I am actually someone who's a fan of Jack Black.
I think he's become a bit more obnoxious in recent years, more just because he's been showing up in films more often, and they've always been like not good films, and he's always just sort of had this rock star kind of a persona in those.
And the thing is, that persona can work. I saw Tenacious D live last year, and he killed it on stage when he did that. But the weird thing is, again, there was no need to give this guy 3 songs in this movie.
I think they were trying to capture the success that happened with Peaches.
But
yeah,
the difference is Peaches is a good song, Also, you're wrong that he had 4 songs in this one.
Oh yes, 4. He had 4 songs, like, and only one of them's any good.
Yeah.
Which would be the Lava Chicken.
No, I was gonna say the last song.
The last song's all right. I'll give you that one. I want to find the person who gave him the song Dennis, and I want to stab them in the ears, because that's what they essentially did by making me listen to that. And again, this is coming from someone who likes Tenacious D.
Yeah, Dennis kind of sucked.
Like, so it's not that I dislike
the song, not the dog. The dog's adorable.
The dog is adorable, although I found it weird that no one questioned that a cubed dog was walking around in our world for ages.
Now we all see what Crust has done to dogs and how messed up they can be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, well, Elliot, what did you think of the design of the movie? Because I hated it.
Sometimes the effects look quite good. Other times it felt very fake.
Oh yeah, no, particularly. I found the villagers. They were particularly looked fake.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, what the fuck was the point of that one villager going into the real world?
So you can do
and going on a date with the main with Henry's principal.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's
pretty much just a throwback to American Pie with Stifler's mum, because every film that woman's been in, she's always slept with someone.
Yes, because again, she played Stifler's mum in American Pie, and as a result, they have to.
I will admit, though, that villager did give me my only laugh in the film, because specifically during the last credit scene, where throughout the entire film we just saw him going, eh. And then all of a sudden, when Vice Principal Marnie, I've got IMDb up right now, when her ex-husband shows up and starts berating her for picking the villager over him, the villager just goes into this, has a British accent and goes into this like very flowery speech, and I just found that really funny because it came out of nowhere.
I swear I recognize that voice, but I'm not sure who it is. I actually haven't looked on the IMDb page. I think it's Matt Berry, weirdly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and because it was a bit of there's 2 post-credit scenes in the movie.
I didn't see the second one.
Sorry?
I didn't see the second one.
Basically, Steve meets Alex.
Yeah, because they have already sort of said they're considering doing a sequel already.
They need a better villain if they're doing a sequel.
Yeah, Malgosha was not that good of a villain.
No, especially since she has one of the worst motivations of any villain I've ever seen in a movie, because she essentially says...
She just wants to bring the Nether to the real world.
It's not just that. It's her motivation for not liking creativity is she lost a dancing contest.
Literally,
that's it.
That's the entire villain motivation.
Well, we could get a sequel because it's already doubled its budget at the minute, so it's almost profitable.
And you know what? Here's something. Another thing that was really stupid. She essentially caused her own downfall by releasing Steve to find this orb. And he just does not go for it, like, straight off the bat. He's just immediately like, nah, I'm not finding it. I'm not, like, he goes off to find it because he wants to save Dennis, which I like to know is not in any danger. Dennis is fine. He's like wandering the overworld. He's like he's not captured or anything. Literally, it's just, oh, well, if you don't find it, we could harm him.
Yeah, that's the fit. I also think another thing I found weird. She's voiced by the grandma from Moana.
Yeah, Alan Henry.
No. The villain. She's voiced by the grandmother from Moana.
Yeah, that's the actor's name.
Alan. Oh yeah. I know another thing I found weird about the movie is this. It's not very kind to the women in the movie. They don't get much to do. Like, really, the only people who get anything to do are Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and the boy.
Sebastian Hansen.
It's Sebastian Hansen, yeah, in the role. Yeah, no, they're the only ones who get anything to do in this movie. Like, the other two, they give this...
That's another thing. The performances in this film are so flat.
Yeah, it's like, even Jason...
Like Sebastian Hansen gives such a bland performance, and Jason Momoa kind of does as well.
Yeah, Jason Momoa feels like he's going through the motions when they did. I feel like they created the cat. They wrote him like this to play on the TMZ articles that say he's a bit of a diva behind the scenes. Which feels like a weird decision because I thought none of the kids watching this are going to get that.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, why did they not just go down the route the Lego movie did and just said they go into that world and it's all like made in the Minecraft engine and it looks like Minecraft?
Because they need to make it real.
And then I remember... Yeah, I know what you mean. And but I also remembered, hang on, that's the plot of the Playmobil movie and that tanked.
Yeah. Wait, there was a Playmobil film?
Yeah, there was...
Yeah, I remember that.
Genuinely, there was the Playmobil movie. They tried to capitalize on the Lego movie's success, and it tanked.
Oh no, wait. The voice of Malgosha was Rachel House.
Rachel House, that's it. Yeah, she voiced.
Sorry, I was looking at the creature performer.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, Rachel House voices her, and I mean she's fine in the role, but I thought it is a bit weird hearing Moana's grandmother voicing the villain in this.
Yeah.
Well, she did come back in Moana too, did she? So she's something to do.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, there's spoilers for that film. There's not really much of an avenue for her to come back.
Yeah.
Also, quick question. Obviously, partway through, there's like sort of a breakup scene, or conflict scene between Garrett and Henry because Garrett went off to look for diamonds, which Steve said, "Oh no, they are very out of the way. We cannot go after them." And Henry got really pissed about that for some reason. Like, he doesn't know the diamonds are like really out of the way.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all either. It was like, what?
Like, it felt so fucking forced.
Yeah, they have to force conflict in there, and
they did a bad job with it.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, nothing about this film feels very competent. I got a sense based on that this film was originally going to be like two and a bit hours long, and they gutted it in the editing room to get it down to an hour and 45 minutes.
Anyway, like, I kind of knew it was good. I kind of realized just how awful it was going to be. There were two scenes in particular that made me realize how much of a train wreck it was. The first one was when Natalie said to Henry on the car drive up to the new house, "It was our mother's dying wish to live here," which was stupid. Like, literally, when I heard that line, I literally just went. I literally just face bombed. And the second one was when they named the fat pig general who was working for Malgosha, General Chungus.
Yeah, that's real.
They legit did a big Chungus thing. Fuck off.
Wait, so the character wasn't even a rabbit, he was a pig?
Yes. It was a pig. It was just big, and they named him Chungus.
The point is that it's Bugs Bunny who's a rabbit.
Exactly.
And it's also the fact of, this is the I'm the Juggernaut bitch thing again. By the time they put the meme into the film, the meme was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who brings up Chungus memes anymore?
Look, you need to understand the people who work on movies when it comes to memes are like 5 years behind.
Do you know what I find bizarre as well? There's a Mojang logo in front of this movie, but there's no Xbox logo. You would have thought Xbox would want to really get front and center. We own this franchise, and you can get this game if you have the Xbox Game Pass. I found that
was there a Microsoft logo?
No, there wasn't even a Microsoft logo. No.
Ah, that's unusual.
Yeah, they put the Mojang logo on there, but not the Microsoft logo.
I mean, in all fairness, Microsoft probably didn't really do much to help make the film.
Whereas Mojang,
it's not like with a Nintendo with the Mario movie where they were actively involved with the making of the movie. With this one, it was just Mojang probably helped work on it a little bit, and that's about it.
I'm kind of surprised Phil Spencer didn't become an executive producer just for that purpose, because I think that's one way they could have got around it. But I feel like the problem I have with the Minecraft movie, and I really have a problem with it, is. I correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. It feels soulless.
It really does.
Like, there's like this. There was like, we have to tick a whole bunch of boxes. and then we've got it done. So like, we need to have the Enderman here. We need to have the chicken jockey. We need to make sure zombies are a factor in it, and we do the day-night cycle is very quick in the game.
Yeah, again, the entire thing, it didn't feel like they tried doing their own thing. Adding their own thing to the Minecraft lore. It felt like they just went, oh, we're just gonna do Minecraft straight and point out how weird it is.
I think
like Dawn, the black character, was particularly the worst for this. Like, I swear half her lines were just essentially go, the hell is this?
Yeah, she yeah, no, she I kind of was remember her introduction in the film where she's got like this traveling zoo in her car.
There's just a llama in the boot.
And I kind of went, okay, she doesn't really have much going on here. How are they going to get her into the plot? And they had to just kind of force her in.
Yeah, basically say, oh, she's a friend of their mother's, which is implied by her saying, "I'm so sorry, your mother's dead." Yeah, and so Natalie, after Henry is late just because I don't know he's not home from school, like immediately, like God forbid the kid have hobbies, and she calls Dawn to just show up and it was really forced.
Everything. I mean, she doesn't get much to do either. The sister, she gets barely anything to do in this movie as well, and
she criticizes Henry about his for being creative, and then out of nowhere, she then praises him for being creative.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is as well is if I'm comparing it with other kids' video game movies, because people would say you can't say this is still better than Borderlands because that was aimed at a very different audience. I'd say for just the kids' video game movies, this one could be the worst.
So would you say it's worse than the very original Mario film from the 80s?
Ooh,
the original Mario movie still kind of has its charms.
Yeah,
it can still be kind of a turn your brain off and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Also, the fact you realise that John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins were drunk throughout most of the filming of it.
That's because the filming of that was so horrendous. I'm pretty sure the person who played Bowser said he did like a 3-hour long tangent about how horrible, about how it was the worst managed films that he had ever done.
Yeah, I think there was no one was kind of on board with that. And I think after that, Nintendo said, right, if we're doing any more movies, we have to be involved in it. And they were involved very heavily in Mario, and they're going to be very heavily involved in Zelda, which is coming out in 2027, I believe.
With Tom Hollander's Link.
But
Zelda.
But it's weird because I like
that's going to be canon.
I like the idea of a Minecraft movie, but I think they should have lent into doing what the Lego movie did, which is almost do a commentary on how absurd the idea of doing a Lego movie was in the first place. So that's what they should have done. They should have leaned into the idea.
The difference is the Lego movie was kind of, well, it was essentially a kid playing a game.
Yeah.
It was reviewed in the end, and they kind of had the film feel like it was that, and that's how it really worked. With this one, is basically just, look, Minecraft, we got block sheep. Praise us.
Also, can I point out, I don't think you can actually, it's been a long time since I've properly played Minecraft. I don't think you can make a house out of the sheep wool.
No.
You can.
Oh, you can.
You can make beds out of wool, not a house.
I think you can. Like, you can make blocks out of everything. If you can make a block out of it, you can make a house out of it. It's just going to be very flammable.
I love the idea of that. It's like the Dr. Nick line from The Simpsons. Inflammable means flammable? What a country. I would say, if you're going to score it, Elliot, out of 10, what would you give it?
It's a 3.
Yeah, I was actually saying it's a 3 for me.
There are some fun moments and some moments that they make me, that I did find kind of amusing. Obviously, there's Jack Black there's a line from Jack Black at the beginning, from the beginning, saying, "When I was a child, I yearned for the mines."
That was good. Yeah.
Children yearn for the mines.
I think my I think though I'm looking at films like Sonic and Mario, which are kind of pushing these adaptations forwards, and then you've got Borderlands and this, and they're pushing things backwards. Do you have anything else you want to say before we sum this thing up, Elliot, on this film?
Oh wait, I have found a kids video game movie that can be possibly considered worse than this. Ratchet and Clank.
No, I way preferred Ratchet and Clank.
It's literally just cutscenes from the video game. Just play the goddamn video game.
Yeah, but these are good cutscenes. I'll take that over this movie any day.
And if I had to say it's not my least favorite video game movie. I still probably say that's Dragon Quest: Your Story.
No, I would go with that one.
Specifically because specifically because nothing in this film pissed me off more than the ending in that one.
Yeah, I can see that's a good point. I also would say I think I've now seen it. I think Borderlands is worse.
Yeah.
Borderlands is like I'd now see it. If I'd seen that, that would have been a contender for my worst film of last year. Like. It's nearly on Madam Web levels of bad.
Oh, wow.
Yikes.
I would also... I mean, there's other really bad films where people didn't give a crap, like Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li and Doom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you glad that...
There's all the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, yeah, those are... They all pissed me off way more than Minecraft did.
Yeah, so this is not the worst video game movie.
But it might
be. But it's definitely not good.
It's not good.
It's still not good.
And I would say...
I think, when it comes out, if it's on streaming, probably have a few drinks with the boys. You might have a good time just riffing on it.
Okay, so...
before
we move on, one thing you guys didn't mention, how's the soundtrack in the film?
Okay,
yeah,
I think that's fine.
Was it music from the game or just original stuff?
Not really.
They do a couple of remixes, but it's not that many. They do the famous piano piece at the beginning, that boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Also, soundtrack with two complaints. The first one is that they didn't play that Creeper song that was really big in like the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And the other one was we didn't get Jack Black singing, "I be placing blocks and shit because I'm in fucking Minecraft."
I also was annoyed they didn't get any of the Yogscast songs like Diggy Diggy Hole.
Yeah.
Well, most of the Yogscast aren't even together anymore, so we'd have to go to all the individual singers, I think, to get their blessing for it.
Either that, they have to go to Windrose.
Yeah, they could if they wanted to get the Windrose version of Diggy Diggy Hole. They would have only had to go to them, I think, and their record company because. But that's the point. I'm saying it would have been because I feel like no matter what, like there's a lot to say against the Yogcast, and there really is a lot to say against them.
Yeah,
but those songs were a big part of the Minecraft fandom, and I feel like them not being there was a bit weird.
Yeah, they're so massively iconic.
Yeah, so
because they were the first British group to break 1 million followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
and then users start Kickstarter where they nicked a load of money.
Yep.
I did not watch Yogscast when I was younger. I'm good.
No, I only found out about them because of a song called "How Do I Craft This Again," which was a parody of "When Can I See You Again," which was the end credit song of Wreck-It Ralph. So let's move into some actual games. Then it's a video game podcast.
But just like to know, on IMDb, it is a 6 out of 10, a perfect 6.
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes, it is a 47% with critics and an 88% with audience. So I think a number of those might be trolls.
I'm thinking there's something in that. Okay, so
people are gonna love the meme movie.
Literally.
So, just to point out, there's 2 games that have come out in the time that we're not covering because we're waiting until next month. South of Midnight because it's only just come out, and same for The Blueprints, which we're going to cover next month because that came out of nowhere and is now lots of game journalists are considering it a Game of the Year contender. Plus, we don't have to pay for it because it's on PlayStation Plus subscription.
Yay!
Yay, capitalism.
So we'll start with. Normally, I would say let's start with the big one, but let's carry over something that we did do that we meant to do last month. Let's talk Split Fiction.
Yeah, Split Fiction. Yay!
So me and Elliot have been playing this.
Well, attempting to play.
Yes, Reese has been mocking us the entire time.
I noticed them after yesterday's technical difficulties. Reese did not return.
Because I was off doing dinner for everyone.
Well, we did fix it in the end, Reese.
Good.
And
because it was close to the end, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
we got about 30 more minutes. You missed actually a really good bit where we went into like a drawing world and they got us to pick up the boss fight.
Basically, we got into one of the characters and notebooks.
And
like one of the story ideas.
And they did a play on the PlayStation giant enemy crab meme. But anyway, so Split Fiction, it's another co-op game from the makers of It Takes Two. It's basically, if you've not been watching our live streams on it, it's basically a co-op. It's a co-op game where about a sci-fi writer and a fantasy writer getting locked in like this virtual world thing together, and which is actually a plot to steal their ideas for reasons that we haven't got to yet. So we got up to part 3 before we did this streaming. We're in the second. I think that's the second sci-fi world we're in because we've done like
we're in the second sci-fi section at least.
And I will say one thing, Elliot. You said something very, very good about what your opinion on the game is from what you've played.
Yeah, I think gameplay-wise, it is brilliant.
I agree. We kind of disagree on the story because I'm kind of liking the story at the minute, and you're a bit iffy on it.
I think the story is kind of weak in a number of ways. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite as strong as It Takes Two.
Yeah.
You also don't like the villain, Elliot, do you?
I mean, the villain's just a corporate tech guy. There's a reason I call him Zucker Musk.
Yeah, he basically is just a Zuckerberg trying to nick a Brandon Sanderson's ideas.
Yeah, which he actually did to train AI.
Oh yes, he did as well. I forgot about that.
We live in a dystopia.
Literally.
But the weird thing is, I think some of the best parts of this game are the side story sections where you get the very creative short ideas, like the drawing world, the notebook, the farting pigs.
Yeah, there's a section where you play as one of us play as a pig whose power was springy. He could basically has slinky powers.
That was me.
And my one was I had a pig who flied by flatulation.
See, and these ideas so brilliant. No wonder they want to be stolen by corp CEOs.
To be fair, I would so turn that into a children's book. What about and then there was, of course, I liked the kite section that we did last night.
The kite bit was so much fun. That one was so good.
The sort of flying squirrel suits where it turns to Gradius. That's great.
Yeah.
The section I quite like was you two on the motorbike continuously dying and crashing.
Oh yeah, the motorbikes.
Motorbike.
And then we were doing the
that was funny.
And we were doing the countdown to how long till it takes till we get an Akira reference, and then we just both went, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Just literally the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Oh, there it is.
So, I think the weird thing is as well. I think the co-op sections, they're so well thought out. Like, you're not quite going to know what you're doing at first, but you're going to be able to figure it out quite quickly. You're never going to be stuck somewhere for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the longest we ever spent on a section was 5 minutes, maybe.
Probably was that one, the side story where we had to put the bomb in GLaDOS's head.
No, I was thinking the section where we were shapeshifters trying to figure out what to do with the birds.
Oh yes, yeah, that one took a while, and you forgot you could turn to an otter for a bit.
Yeah.
See, now out of context, those sound completely bonkers.
Yeah, that's what this game is like.
Yeah, but that's what I like about it. I like the fact it's so bonkers, and it's like you're never going to quite get the same experience twice in the game. I wonder though, do you think that means that it's a bit? I think that means it's quite good to play this game in chunks, because I feel like if you try to play this game all at once, you're gonna be like, oh, now I've got to relearn the controls all over again.
Yeah, I do like how each section like plays quite differently. Like even from settings, because one sci-fi mode you were playing with the whip, I was playing with I was using the sword. Meanwhile, in this one we're currently we're just using guns.
The like that, and that's a very big difference in terms of in terms of basic gameplay. I mean, I do think the two characters, the main characters, Mio and they bounce off each other quite well.
Yeah, I think so. I don't really like it. I don't really like the idea, Mio and Zoe. I don't really like the idea that how Zoe keeps looking at Mio and going, "Oh, this thing has violence in it. You must have some traumatic event from your past that inspired this." Like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. People write violence all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, watch some anime for a bit, and that will let you know that one.
Hey, good God, if that was the case, the creator of Hellgirl must be the most fucked up person out there.
Let's not look up the author of Hellgirl, because I've had enough horror stories looking up manga authors.
Yeah.
What about so?
Hellgirl manga author.
I'll bet you anything, because he's actually writing some real fucked up shit. He's actually really nice in real life.
Actually, it's a she.
Oh yes, I remember. I did my. Why did I forget that? I did the research for that book when I wrote my book. Okay, so I feel like I didn't play too much of It Takes Two because it was difficult to get a co-op partner for that one.
Yeah, these are the games that really require co-op partners.
Yeah, and though having played Split Fiction, you really could not have done that without with an AI partner. It would have just gone.
Yeah, the co-op is what makes it, in my opinion. Like the puzzles are so centered around the two the two players being able to do different things.
And it feels like they're easy mistakes to make. Like one of the things I found interesting, we haven't really got mad at each other for the mistakes that we've made while playing it.
Yeah.
Yet there's still time.
Yeah. I mean, that's because we have a good player and a bad player rather than you and Ren, which are two bad players.
Yeah, no, that was because I remember after me and Ren played Overcooked on stream, we just said never do a co-op game ever again. But
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do think though we are definitely, which is kind of ironic because you died a lot more in the first stream we did.
Yeah, I think I died more in the last one we did as well.
Yeah, I was definitely I wouldn't say in any case either of us were carrying the other one.
Yeah, I think we're both doing a pretty good job. Like I think. Like we're both pointing out like the solutions to puzzles to one another.
Because I remember there was one where I remember there was one last night where you couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, oh, hang on, I've sort of got the right idea, but I've not got it right. Elliot, throw a bomb on that thing. Now it can go through, and now I can detonate. Now let me know when I need to detonate the bomb on this side.
Yeah, and then there was some like where, and then there was some where like you were struggling to figure it out. I was just like, oh wait, I got it.
So I feel like this game, as I say, I feel like in terms of gameplay, this could be a Game of the Year contender by the end of the year.
Oh, definitely. I definitely give it like, it's currently got a 9.1 on Metacritic. I probably give it, or a 91 on Metacritic. I give it a 9.3.
I go, because we're not going to probably review it properly. I think I'd go 9.5. I'd go higher.
Oh.
It's because every time I think what I like about it is every time I fail on this, it feels like my fault. It doesn't feel like what the hell were the designers thinking with this decision.
Yeah.
Well, apart from last night when the game broke.
Oh yeah, no, we did have a crash last night. We did run into a glitch last night.
Yeah.
But we fixed it relatively quickly. I'll tell you right now, I cannot believe how. But as I say, that's one glitch in
free streams, is it?
In free 2-hour streams. So it really took us till like about 5.5 hours of a 12 to 10 hour game before we experience anything of that sort.
Yeah.
Which is not what I'm going to be saying about the next game we're going to be talking about. I think they know what I'm referring to there. But I feel like it's a real triumph, this game, actually. I will say, I think they've done a very good job with this one.
Yeah, it really makes you want to like possibly try It Takes Two.
Well, we could do that as a future stream.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you two could compare your experience from Split Fiction to that.
Yeah, it would be very interesting as well if we did it relatively recently after doing Split Fiction.
Yeah.
I also think this is going to really benefit with the Switch 2 version that's already been confirmed. Jumping a little bit ahead on something, but this was confirmed to be coming to Switch 2. I think it's a release day they're bringing it to Switch 2.
Yeah, I imagine it like just two people being able to play on separate switches, so you're not having to do the whole split screen thing.
Or if you wanted, another way you could do it is also, of course, doing the two Joy-Con methods.
Yeah.
So, okay. Also, again,
just one last thing. Can you play co-op online with randoms, or do you have to know the person?
I think it is designed to play with someone you know.
Yeah, you both.
Like, it's not like something a multiplayer game you could just play with a random person.
Oh, and I think it's like It Takes Two, where it's tied to an EA play account,
right,
to do online multiplayer, which is really dumb, in my opinion. So all three of us kind of got our own thing this month. So we'll start with my one, because it was generated the most headlines. Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, for good and for bad.
So for the record, I played the PlayStation 5 version. And the best way to describe it is, in terms of where it draws with Assassin's Creed, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Right.
And my Metacritic has got an 81 from critics and a 6.3 from users, with glowing reviews such as I'm really enjoying this masterpiece, but after playing a big amount of hours, I can say that Ubisoft hit the mark. And then there's another one saying, Das Spiel kann mich einfach kein Autograph. Yeah.
What? I have no fucking clue.
They're just very angry German.
Okay, Assassins mehr. Das Spiel were massive Waschnettern.
I will say your German accent is coming along all right since you've been going there a couple of times.
That's because I'm just doing angry German, which is one of the easiest accents to do.
Well, the funny thing is, okay, I will say there's a couple of things I like about it. I don't really like the plot because it's basically just Ezio's plot all over again.
Of course.
Dad's killed, and you got to kill all the other samurai who are under Nobunaga that have caused this.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of samurai, isn't it?
Yeah. There's eight of them. I think I've assassinated.
I'd like to know that's not the plot for Assassin's Creed 2. That's the plot for Ride to Hell Retribution.
Oh yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
just replace the brother with the father, and you're good.
Yeah, and also they put a bit of Pulp Fiction in there because there's a box that we don't see at the beginning what's in it, and they nicked it. So I will say another thing I do like is the fact that at this point, Assassin's Creed, they've completely abandoned the modern day storyline and the whole.
Oh really?
Yeah, they'd completely gone.
Oh.
I mean, have they really been doing much with that one in recent games?
Not really. No, it wasn't really in Valhalla. It's not really.
Yeah, it's not been in the reboot timeline because it started off with like Odyssey, Mirage, Origins, Valhalla.
Which
that's always just been set in that past, in that era.
The last one I can think of that people thought, oh, that's really cool, is Black Flag, because they're going into the Animus for game development, pretty much.
Yeah. Now I will say, Black Flag is still to this point, even after playing this, it's still my favorite Assassin's Creed. And I'll give you one reason why, one major thing why between the two of them, because I don't want
Pirates.
Sorry,
Pirates.
That's one, but the other one I'm thinking side content. Side content is great in Black Flag. In in Shadows, it's too long. It's
Oh,
way
really?
too fucking long. Put it this way. I put this up to Elliot in terms of like comparing it with Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
There's a mission you get like to get better gear for your samurai, for your assassin. You know, it's like you're invading these castles, and you really required if you want to improve the home base because it's where you get the most amount of materials from. How
Yeah.
long would you say? And it usually is get the materials, kill a certain number of the top samurai that do it, like 2, 3, or 5, something like that, and then take the legendary chest after you've killed all five of them, and that's your reward. How long would you reckon that would take you in a game?
As just a piece of side content,
Let's
probably
say
like an hour.
Let's say you got to kill 3 samurai. How long would you
Right.
guess?
45 minutes, maybe.
45 minutes.
I went lower. I said like 15, 30.
It's an hour plus every time because you just these castles are huge and and you've got to run around them like no joke. I spent like 15 minutes just running around this castle saying, "Where are you samurai bastard?"
Yeah, that's part of the previews I have seen about the size of the castles in the area.
It's like everything's too big. It's all too big. It's like this open world. There's not much in it, so there's not much to explore. It's not like a Breath of the Wild where there's tons to explore. Even Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima has got a really great open world where there's tons to look at and everything's very pretty, and there's a load of little side missions that don't take too long. Like, that's the problem. This game's taken too long to come out. Like, Assassin's Creed Japan was an idea that was out for ages. They've been planning this since the end of the Ezio saga.
Yeah, literally.
And they've taken too long, and now we have Assassin's Creed in Japan, and it's way better. Like, Ghost of Tsushima, I will stand by, and Elliot will agree with me completely on this, it's phenomenal of the game.
It's one of the best PS4 games.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think this does not even compare. Like, one of the things I think it's... The thing for me is also as well, this isn't as long as Valhalla, because it's like a 40-hour game. If you're going from start to finish, so I think you've got to be on the easiest difficulty if you do that, because you're not getting any good gear if you do. But I think that's too long for an Assassin's Creed game. I think they're 30 hours absolute max.
Yeah, I remember Ghost of Tsushima being like 20 to 30 hours about.
Which is a perfect length for that game. 20 to 30.
I mean, I think it took me like about 50, but I was doing literally everything in that game. Yeah, and I accidentally ended up in the DLC, which is like another 15 hours.
But right, so apparently, according to How Long to Beat, Valhalla's main story itself alone was 61 hours.
Yeah.
So with no side content, just main story.
And that's a problem. And that's a big problem with Valhalla. Valhalla is way too fucking long. But this one doesn't improve things that much. That's the thing. It doesn't matter that the combat is a little bit better this time because it feels a bit. Though that being said, I swear the blocking mechanics don't work as well as they claim it does. I swear half the time I'm pitch perfect on timing and it tells me I'm off.
Oh really?
Yeah. There's So I just don't bother blocking anymore. I just dodge everything.
It's also apparently, according to How Long to Beat, 30 and a half hours just for the main story.
Okay.
So it's like half of Valhalla, basically.
I think it's enough to have it.
I think so. That's the thing. I think if you like Assassin's Creed, it's a really good Assassin's Creed. But if you've been turned off by all the fluff that they've been putting in these games, this does not help anything. Like, I feel like you had its issues with it, but I feel like Assassin's Creed Mirage was a more focused experience.
Yeah, so the whole thing with Mirage, it went back to basics of just being one major city that you explore and focus on.
But that's kind of what I want. I don't want this massive open thing with not much in there. Like, it really makes feudal Japan look dull and lifeless. Like, there's not much color in anything. There's not much to see. Like, I'm remembering Ghost of Tsushima and all those really amazing environments and just looking out into the ocean area when you go up to one of those top of those hills.
What do you think of this? Someone wrote this review about it. Notwithstanding as a game abuse the cultural heritage of Japan, the game the game displays a blatant disrespect for the culture of Japanese people.
That's a lie. That's an utter lie. They've done about as much research as other Assassin's Creed games. Like there are some obviously historical inaccuracies. The Assassin's Creed series always has had those.
How would you say the accuracy compares to Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima is a little bit better.
Yeah,
it's a little bit better because they.
I mean, weren't Sucker Punch hailed as ambassadors of Japan after the success of it?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, they were.
I feel like the thing that they're going for, but they get most of it right. Like they get about Japan's history of Portugal quite right, and that's how Yasuke actually ended up in Japan. Down. They get
because he was sold off by missionaries, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was sold off by Portuguese missionaries to Nobunaga, and it's that's another thing. It takes way too long till you get to play as Yasuke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I've only just got to. I've only managed a few days ago to get to the point where you're playing as Yasuke, and I've been playing it quite a bit.
Now that's interesting because most of the marketing focuses on him and his gameplay.
Oh yeah, no, it takes a while till you can play as Yasuke. No, it really does. You're like 5 to 8 hours into the game before that's happening.
Yeah, and the game's only 30 hours long already. That's a decent chunk.
Like Yasuke's big thing for me is as well, his gameplay doesn't really feel like it fits Assassin's Creed. It feels like it should have been its own game.
Yeah, he does appear to fight a bit more like a Dark Souls character, and just big and lumbering.
That's not an issue. Like I like a lot of aspects of that, but it's kind of a case of I was so used to doing Assassin's Creed that I like these hidden methods to suddenly play as this brute force character. Was it took a bit of getting used to. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, because when you play Yasuke, you can't do all the climbing and stuff, can you?
No, you can't. But he does get like a big bust through. So like, there's one of the sort of knowledge points you go to, and you can't get through there as the assassin. You have to swap to Yasuke and then smash through it.
I just find kind of mad that it's a game called Assassin's Creed, and yet one of the characters you play as does not follow the Assassin's Creed formula. One of them's just a big brute.
As I say, I feel like Yasuke should have had his own game. I feel like that would have been, and I would have probably been just as interesting because Yasuke is a fascinating figure. When you
he easily could have a spin-off game like Assassin's Creed Mirage. Is technically a spin-off game because it ties back into Valhalla.
And I feel like
with Bastin.
I would love the idea of Assassin's Creed Yasuke.
Yeah.
So So that's my thoughts on it. Like, there's some good things here. The combat's actually quite good, and the storyline's actually quite interesting. But I feel like there's so much fluff in it that I kind of go, I just want to be done with this.
So, if people wanted an assassin-based game based in Japan, would you just recommend Ghost of Tsushima instead?
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Every time, and say get it now because I reckon it will. Because it will get you ready for Ghost of Yotei later this year.
Yeah.
So we'll do your game next, Elliot.
Which one?
The not Bleach one.
Okay, yeah. The first Bezerker Kazan.
First Bezerker Kazan.
The first Bezerker Kazan, not of Kazan.
I've played 1 hour of this.
I've not played any.
I'm currently, let me get up Steam. 26 hours in.
What do you think of it, Elliot?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think this might be the Souls-like of the year.
But that's funny because it's. I kind of agree with you actually. I've only played an hour of it, but it's a well-made Souls-like.
It's got 79 from both critics and users.
Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I'd probably put it a bit higher. I'd probably say it's like a mid-8.
I obviously haven't played it long enough to really score it, but I was impressed by what I played. I think it's but the thing is, I've played a lot of Souls-likes now, and I found it interesting how you can really tell the ones that work are the ones that are made by people that get it.
Yeah.
And the developers of Kazan really do get what makes Souls-like quite good. It reminded me a lot of what was that one that was having like the Plague Doctor's mask on? It was like a spiritual successor to Bloodborne.
Oh, Thymesia.
Thymesia, yeah, it reminded me quite a bit of that.
In all fairness, I'm actually one of the few people who actually like really enjoyed Thymesia.
No,
Like a lot of people did not like that one. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I'm joining your club, Elliot. I liked Thymesia. How would you say it compares with Thymesia based on what you've played?
I'd say this is better.
Okay, yeah. What about but here's the big one.
Essentially, this is essentially a revenge story. So you're playing as Kazan, obviously, played by Ben Starr, who's just using his Clive Rossfield voice.
Oh, really?
It really is just that voice.
That's just the one voice he's doing for it.
Yeah, that's what he's doing all the time now. He's doing it in Hades 2 as well.
Oh, is it?
And he was basically betrayed by a friend called Ozma, and well, I can't remember. It's either the Emperor or Ozma, one of the two. And he's been possessed by a spirit called the Blade Phantom, who essentially releases essentially frees him, and they have a bit of a confrontation at first with the Blade Phantom trying to take over his body, and Kazan's not letting him. And now as both sides have their own goals and are now working together to sort of fix them.
It's a decent setup, I'd say.
It's a decent setup. You get kind of compelled into the story quite easily.
Okay.
Or drawn into it, rather.
The thing that makes or breaks a Souls-like, the boss fights.
The boss fights are fun. They are fucking brutal.
Yeah,
but I think the shortest one that's taken me is like 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these are not easy fights, but you know what? They are fun.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. That was one of the things that the boss fight I got to, it really was challenging, and I haven't gone back to it since. But I mean, I probably should go back to it.
Yeah, I recommend this. So one thing that's interesting with the boss fights and the enemy fights is that they do have sort of like a stamina bar underneath them, but you fight two different beings. You fight normal regular humans, and you fight demons. The thing that's interesting about that is that humans' stagger bars are easier to knock down, like you've knocked them down faster, but they recharge if they like don't hit you, or if they don't hit you or you don't hit them for a period of time.
Yeah.
Like you can't and like humans do, like the human enemies, their stamina bar does go down when they attack. Demons, on the other hand, they only go down when you hit them, and they go down much slower. But they stay down. They don't like recharge at all.
Which I think
it's a really cool way of like sort of differentiating the two, and so it makes you consider different options when fighting both sides.
Okay, here's the thing, Elliot. Comparing it to two of my favorite non-FromSoft Souls-like games, Lies of P and Code Vein. How would you say it ranks compared to those?
I think Lies of P is better, but I think this might be better than Code Vein.
Ooh, I'm not sure I'd agree with that one.
I'm not sure. Although that being said, it's been a long while since I played Code Vein, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, to be fair, that's a good point. And here's the thing about it. I feel like Lies of P, not only does I think it looks better than Kazan, I think its general control scheme is a bit better than Kazan's.
I like the look of Kazan. Like, I like the whole sort of comic book shell shaded style that it goes for.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen.
It looks cool.
It's been a while since we've seen like cell shaded effects in games.
Yeah, no, the only series I can really think of that's been doing it frequently, aside from anime games, is Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands does it quite a bit. I will say, I do think the world looks good. The soundtrack's pretty good as well.
Soundtrack is great. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. Just to go out to combat, you do have a much slimmer weapon pool than other games. So like you only have 3 weapon types, those being dual weapons, great swords, and spears. but they all have different move sets, and you can like upgrade them separately, so you can like make your favorite one more powerful. So you get your favorite pretty easily. I opted for the spear. That one's my favorite.
Yeah, same. I actually say I appreciated the fact they kept the weapons pool a bit slimmer. I think that's
because enemies do drop weapons a lot. And one thing I do actually like is that if you get like a matching set of like weapons and armor and like amulets and rings and whatnot, you do get like extra benefits for doing so.
That would have been something that would have been very helpful in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So like I can just go for like defense and offense and just go and like pick which weapons have the highest stats in those. Or I could like just go with try having sets I'm matching, therefore I get like just extra benefits from that but at the same time I'm sacrificing like the power of each of the equipment I'm using.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had. Do you know what I found interesting earlier? The game sponsored an episode of WWE SmackDown.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, they had the logo on the center of the ring. That always found interesting.
And did that help sales any, or?
I think it has done quite well on its sales front.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's sold pretty well. I'm fairly sure.
The thing is though, I feel like Kazan's pretty good. I reckon it's gonna. I'm wondering, is this going to be a game that we're gonna sort of remember, or is it going to be like Thymesia, where we remembered it at the top, where we really liked it at the time, but then we don't really remember it years down the line?
Yeah.
That's gonna be kind of tough to say because it's kind of tough for Souls-likes to really stand up from one another. Like Lies of P is the only main exception I could think of where a non-From Software Souls-like has really stood out.
I think they really tried it with Another Crab's Treasure. That team really tried, and they're trying again because they're releasing a physical version soon.
Oh.
Except not for Xbox.
Yeah. Oh.
There's actually a reason behind that, but
yeah, also Lies of P. It was so successful. It's the only one that's got additional DLC now.
Yeah, and it is meant to be getting a sequel, I believe.
Yeah,
this time around Wizard of Oz, which will be kind of fun.
That is going to be bizarre. How are you going to make a Wizard? I'm interested to see how you do a Wizard of Oz, Souls-like.
I think most people were saying the same when they learned that Lies of P was Pinocchio based.
But to be fair, so first Bezerker Kazan, we think it's really good. Would you go?
It's really good. It's really good. It's really fun. If you're a fan of Souls-likes, you're gonna enjoy this one. So it has the same similar things that other Souls-likes do. You get your perfect guy, your perfect dodge. The boss fights and enemies are really tough. Some of the enemies I think are a little bit too tough. And like there are some enemies that are meant to be really tough, but like you kill them once and they're gone for good. Right. But there are other ones that are like quite brutal. And
now, when you say tough and brutal, do you mean like moveset wise, damage wise, or are they just health sponges?
Sometimes a mixture of three. Like it kind of depends on the enemies. Like not often are they like major damage sponges. There are some that do take a lot of damage. They don't deal. There's some that do obviously deal a heavy amount of damage, but oftentimes it's some movesets that can really screw you over. Like in one of the sections I was in, there was like a number of guys who like basically wizards who shot fireballs, and they were so tough to deal with. Okay. Like honest to God, they had a ton of health, and they had a number of movesets that just kept bombarding you with fire.
Okay. Yeah, because what from you guys have told me, you have no range option.
Not really.
You do actually. You do.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
You do.
You get the option to you get like spears. Actually, that's something else I need to talk about. There's a mechanic in this game called the spirit mechanic, which is used for like a number of things. Like you have unique attacks for each of your weapons. You can use some spirit for the javelin you use for range attacks is required for. You need some spirit for that. I like that it really does that. It's like a lot of resource managing and whatnot. They even like some, I believe there's like one healing item that can like that can like heal you 50% of your health for 3 spirits. So it really makes you like sort of have to resource manage a lot.
Okay. I would say you are doing a written review of this, so we won't get your score right now.
Yeah.
But you, from what I gathered, you think it's a really good Souls-like, and if you enjoy that, that's the sort of thing you're going to enjoy.
Yeah, if you're a Souls-like, I think you're going to really enjoy this one.
Okay, so Reese, we're going to cover your game next, which is the end of an era, really, because this is the last big Nintendo exclusive before the Switch 2 comes out.
Yep.
So this is an end of an era, Reese. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
Yep. So after this, we finally have all 4 of the mainline games on one console with the Switch.
Just
of all the games we've talked about today, this one I think has a high score.
Really?
Oh, really?
No, actually, no. Sorry, Split Fiction has a high score. This one's 80. It's only the second highest. This is 86 by critics and 8.3 by users.
Oh, that's interesting. Ali, is it possible to check the original release a decade ago for me?
The Wii U
Just
version.
compare the score.
Because I remember the Wii U version did not review that well. It reviewed all right, but it didn't review incredible.
Yeah.
See if I can find. Yeah, that one got 84.
Oh, so just slightly lower.
Slightly lower, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, there's not that much additional content in this version.
It's more quality of life for the main game's combat systems. It's only when you get to the post game, there's now a new epilogue, which I haven't reached yet because that's like 60 hours just to get to the new epilogue.
I'm not going to reach that epilogue before the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, because I think there's like 20 chapters in the game, and I'm on like chapter 4, I think. You get the skull at chapter 6.
Same problem as Assassin's Creed. There's too much fluff in the game.
So you can't speed up by doing all side content, but you majorly hinder yourself because you need to see the side content to unlock the map. You need to unlock the map to unlock resource generation with probes and mining. I need that resources to buy and fund better equipment at your home base in Los Angeles.
So there's a lot. There's just a lot of steps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
so you can skip all the side content, just do the main story, but you're gonna have to grind for levels basically. And random drops off monsters for equipment.
And the main story's not that interesting because you've got to create a character this time.
Yep. So the problem with X is, like Carl said, is create a character, but it also had a very short development window, and it was also rushed massively. So a lot of chunks were taken out during development and just discarded. So the story is massively disjointed between it all, and stuff we got left just isn't very good.
Yeah, say what you like about Xenoblade Chronicles 2's story, but it does keep you hooked in the game.
Yeah, so basically the main story for X is you're on Earth, 2 warring alien species fight above the Earth, humanity tries to escape, aliens destroy the Earth, then chase after humanity to a new planet. Humans have to try and survive.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that plot before. Titan-E! Titan-E!
Yeah, so it's quite a dull plot, but it makes up for with some of the characters. And this also has the best combat system in any Xenoblade game.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think it has the best combat in a Xenoblade game. I much preferred the combat in Xenoblade 1 and 3. Even 2, I think 2 has really good combat, but...
2's my favorite combat system in Xenoblade.
Yeah. But...
So with Xenoblade X, we all create a character. In all the other games, you play as an individual character locked to that mostly one class, except 3 where you can swap parts of it. In Xenoblade X, you can play as every class all at once, go, with all the arts available and skills.
That's the problem.
So you pretty much have unlimited power.
That's really cool.
And when you get to the end of the game, you can reach the damage cap of it's like 10 billion or something. Oh. It's ridiculous. That's some of the super bosses.
It's a Palpatine meme here.
Yeah, so one of the things with the online modes, which they brought back, was these Nemesis super bosses. It's meant to be like a raid event, basically, with trillions of health. As all the clips you see online, people farming tickets, just like 10 billion damage per attack and just looping the whole thing. It's just numbers going crazy.
Jesus Christ.
The thing is, though, it doesn't matter how good the combat system is.
Yeah.
If they haven't given me a good narrative in a Xenoblade game, I don't see a reason to refine that combat or try to.
Yeah.
Even the side characters don't get much to do in this one.
They do later on, and side quests have consequences. Like in this game, you can kill off a lot of optional people and also commit genocide against other species.
See, I didn't like that. I prefer.
Sounds similar to a number of the side quests in The Witcher 3. Because I know in Witcher 3 there's like one particular side quest where it doesn't matter what you pick, not everyone's going to leave it alive.
Yeah, that's the majority of side quests later on.
Yeah,
it's a very high kill count on civilians.
That's my kind of thing. I like really having to pick which options are the best.
And also, the options you pick, it may be completely innocuous and not make any sense, and it has like devastating consequences. Because there's one prompt in the side quest. Do you recommend a female character take a shower or not? Whatever choice you pick, people die regardless.
What?
Yes.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
I literally, a lot of side quests are like that.
My favourite... I'll tell you what, a weird thing about it for me as well, is because I had the Wii U version.
Same.
I can't remember the gamepad playing much of a factor in that one. Did the gamepad... Is my memory playing tricks on me? I don't remember. I think the gamepad was just like a map or something.
Yep, majority of the time it was just a map of the Mirror and New LA, mainly used for the resource management with the probes I was talking about earlier. So now with the Switch, you pretty much only have the one main screen to play on. So it's now relegated to an option on the main menu.
Do you think it's better or worse for not having the gamepad?
I think it's better because the game itself just runs a lot smoother.
Yeah.
The original Wii U version was 30 FPS. It did not hit that.
No.
It was like low 20s most of the time.
It really was struggling to run it. And this one definitely runs a lot smoother.
And it's going to run even smoother because, of course, with the typical hackers, they found out there's a hidden 60 FPS mode toggle in the options. And the Switch can actually run it, but it's been disabled. So people think with the Switch 2 releases, Nintendo's going to do a patch to just say, right, you're now playing 60 FPS.
If they're going to do that, I'd hope they do that with the other 3 Xenoblade games, because I wouldn't mind seeing what they would like in 60 FPS.
And with X, it benefits the most from it, because even though I've not got the scales in this game, back on the Wii U version a decade ago, I put like 200 hours in, I maxed out all the scales and the resources, and the performance used to chug when you were doing flight mode in the scales.
Which are the mechs in this thing, yeah.
So if you played the Japanese version, they're called dolls. But apparently that sounded too feminine for Western players. So they changed it to skells. A word no one's heard of. It makes no sense.
No. So, okay, first off, comparing it to the Wii U version, is this the better way to play it? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say this is the definitive way of playing it.
Yeah. There's literally no point playing the original at this point.
Kind of wish they brought in amiibo functionality for all the Xenoblade amiibo they put on there.
Oh, of course you do, Cal. You just got to justify that collection.
Of course you do.
But, okay, quick pointer as well. Another thing I don't like about the game, they didn't improve the character creation at all. It's so limited as a character creator.
Yeah, they did give in a few more optional hairstyles if you pre-ordered, I believe.
Yeah, they did.
But that's about it.
And I didn't pre-order, so I didn't get access to those. And
in that case, it would be cool if they added more, just as pre-updates.
Yeah, they easily could.
Easily could, yeah. But the weird thing is, certain body types of certain characters couldn't have certain hairstyles, for example, or they couldn't have certain facial hair, or so.
You mean I can't go as a buff guy with Hatsune Miku hair?
No,
unfortunately.
Oh.
But do you guys know what the biggest controversy was in the Western release of this of the original Wii U game?
What was it again? Sorry.
So in Japan, female characters had a breast slider.
Oh, yes, I remember that. And they cut it for the Western release.
And they got taken out for the Western release.
I remember reading about that, and it was like, wow, I'm not surprised they deleted that one.
Yeah, in Western replaced it with the cock slider.
But interestingly, though, it wasn't like the right-wing Gamergate fanboys. You'd think it would kick up a storm. It was actually female players saying we wanted their representation. You should have left it in the game.
Wow.
It was a lot of female characters and creators.
That's funny.
Who said about it.
That's funny because I imagine if that happened again today, that would be the complete reverse.
Yeah, literally. Because the thing with Xenoblade, it's always had a very progressive fan base.
Yeah,
because I think nowadays people are also trying to promote having more ugly female characters in the lead, in the main roles, and so they brought that, and now some people will probably see it as misogynistic a little bit.
Yeah,
there's they are. I will say as well though, Xenoblade I have noticed does have a decent LGBTQ fandom, so they are definitely drawn. I'm not entirely sure why in particular, but
well, just hopping away back to Xenoblade 3, there was a non-binary character, the Archer.
Oh yeah, there was. Yeah, to be fair, so that might have been a reaction to the fact that they knew that fandom was there. I also think it's just like there's a general LGBTQ fandom in anime, and let's face it, Xenoblade is really very anime.
It's one of those anime franchises.
So, okay, where would you say you'd rank it with the other Xenoblade games on Switch? So, Chronicles Definitive Editions 2 and 3.
Okay, so I'll go Xenoblade 1, Definitive Edition, still up there, still my favourite.
Yeah.
And I would go 3, then X, then 2.
Oh, you put this one over 2.
Yeah, I did have a lot of issues with 2, especially at the time of performance and everything. But also, what the major thing I felt hurt X 2 compared to X was the English voice cast was not very good.
Yeah, I downloaded the Japanese voice cast for Xenoblade 2 because I do not want my ears to be damaged. Thank you very much.
Okay, I will go then. Elliot, you obviously. Elliot, do you want to do the rankings on this one, or do you feel you've not played enough to really do it?
I have not really played enough. I've already said before, I'm not the biggest Xenoblade fan.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I will say my decision is Xenoblade 3, definitive, then second definitive edition, then Xenoblade 2, and then X. I'm sorry, I can't get into X in the same way I can get into the other three, and I think the narrative isn't quite as strong in it as the other three games, and that's what really draws me. Like even 2, for all its faults, that narrative still keeps me going.
Yeah,
and I think
compared to X as well, I also preferred the world of X with its degree of exploration.
Yeah, the exploration in X is pretty good. I'll give you that one. But okay, so I
just want to move on about the exploration in X. The actual map of Mirror is actually one of the biggest open worlds on Nintendo systems.
It really is.
It's bigger than the Land of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it really is massive. I don't think it's quite as big as Tears of the Kingdom. I think Tears of the Kingdom outdid it with the Sky and Underworld added.
Yeah, but until Tears of the Kingdom, it was the biggest open world you could play on Switch.
That'll be interesting.
And systems.
Yeah, but that'll be interesting with what's coming up in Switch 2. There could be something that'll outdo it soon.
Yeah.
Okay, Elliot, Bleach. The last game we were talking about today.
Bleach Rebirth of Souls, the newest in 3D anime fighters.
Well, I say I haven't actually played this, so from what I've heard.
Well, I have been really getting into Bleach recently, or more really getting back into it. Currently in the anime, we are Ichigo is learning the final Getsuga Tensho, which is really cool. Which it's been great. I've been really enjoying the anime. I haven't played as much of this game as I would like because I've been specifically avoiding playing as or against certain characters so I don't get spoilers on their powers.
Okay. What do you think? Because you say this plays a lot like the Naruto Ninja Storm game.
Yeah, it's essentially it's another Ninja Storm clone.
How for the most part. How do you think it compares to other Ninja Storm games?
I think it's the best one.
Wow. Okay.
It is really, really good. Like it does a lot of new stuff. Like I say, it's a Ninja Storm clone, but because this adds a ton of stuff to make it very unique.
Okay, so what's it adds? What's these unique things that makes it unique?
Well, for starters, you're not just trying to whittle down your opponent's health, unlike all those other games. what you're actually trying to do is trying to take down. Let me see if I can remember what it's called. Is it the Reishi? No, I don't think it's the Reishi. It's the It's the
See, now this is why we also need to bring Ren in on some of these podcasts.
Yeah.
Because Ren
I
knows
can't
his
remember,
Bleach.
but, like basically, it's basically a shield. Like your opponents have, you essentially have to whittle down your opponent's health until either it's depleted or up to it's like I believe 30% before it's depleted. At which point you can do what I believe is called a Konpaku attack, where you're essentially able to damage your opponent's shield. And the more powerful you are in the match, like the more like the higher evolution you have, or if you're like unlocked the spirit drive or whatever, the more damage you do to the opponent's Konpaku or ratio, whatever it's called.
That's an interesting way of doing things.
And what they really like about it is that you'd be worried that this wouldn't make it, so it's very easy to get ahead. It's actually really not, because the more damage you do to your opponent, the more your opponent kind of benefits from it, because like it bumps up their evolution faster and gets them to the higher stages faster. So when they do their own Konpaku attack, they are more likely to be doing the stronger attacks than you are.
Okay.
At that point.
Can I ask you something on this one, Elliot? What is the character selection like in terms of like numbers? Because I can't imagine it's going to be as big as the last Dragon Ball Z game, for example.
No,
Sparking Zero.
Yes,
well, for starters, not every character is available. Currently, the only ones that are available are characters that you fight against or as in the story mode. And there's the obvious go-tos: Ichigo, Rukia, Uryu, Chad, Renji, Yoichiru, the usual ones. Obviously, a number of the 13 core guard squad captains are in there, like Byakuya Kuchiki, Hitsuga, Toshiro Hitsugaya, Kenpachi Zaragi. But there was something you would not expect, like there's a Ikaku, for example, and Izuru. I was not expecting that at all, because I didn't think they were like they did fight in the Arrancar arc, but they were not like majorly vital characters. I'm happy they're there though.
I mean, I've got to wonder how much of this is tying into the new anime that's currently on Disney Plus.
I believe this goes up to the end of the 1,000-Year Blood War.
Okay.
They frequently advertise that this is the story of the manga,
right,
as opposed to the anime. So it's going to tell. I'm pretty sure it's going to tell the entire story.
Okay. So, can you recommend this to Bleach fans?
Yeah, you can definitely recommend this to Bleach fans. I think Bleach fans are going to get a real kick out of this. Obviously, it's a very abridged story, so you're not going to experience like every single fight within the series. Like there are a number of fights against hollows in the original series that are just kind of glossed, or from the substitute Soul Reaper arc, which is just kind of glossed over. But I'd say you do get the basic idea of it.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's one of those things of, if you're that much into the franchise that you want to buy this game, you likely have watched the whole of Bleach.
Yeah, and in all fairness, like most of the people are going to be there for the fights anyway, rather than the story.
Like, for example, I remember that happened with the Demon Slayer, like Ninja Scroll clone that came out.
Yeah. I reviewed that first game.
Yeah.
Same.
So that one, I remember a criticism at the time was that it went through the story, it abridged the story quite a bit. I was like, have you played an anime game recently? They do that all the time. Yeah,
I think they did it. That one did it like a bit too much, though, from what I remember.
Yeah.
This one, on the other hand, I say it does it enough. Like, it does show like some of the like more important parts of the story. Like, one thing I'm very happy to show was, for example, Ichigo and Uryu's competition in Karakura Town, where they're trying to see who can kill as many hollows, who can kill them as hollows.
Okay. the weird thing I've got to say, the weird thing for me is that I don't feel like this game got that much attention. Do you think it's the time it came out?
I think it got more Jeffrey got more attention in Japan.
Yeah, but
games don't really get as much here.
Yeah, it also heavily pushed on YouTube as well.
Yeah. And also, I might as well bring this up now. This was the first game I've ever refunded on Steam.
Really?
Because I couldn't even load the title screen without it crashing.
Right. So you
people were complaining like when it first came out how awful the Steam port was. So I had to refund and get it on the PS5.
I was going to say, so presumably you got the PS5 version.
Yeah,
I'm assuming there's no Switch version of this.
No, as far as I'm aware, it's not.
Is there an Xbox version of it?
Yes, there is.
Okay, cool. There's no one's going to buy the Xbox version.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Because I always wonder why the anime games end up on Xbox, because you just sort of think this audience is not really on that console.
Yeah. Another thing is the characters play very, very differently one to one another in ways you expect and in ways that you don't.
Okay.
And a lot of the times those ways are kind of for the worse.
Okay.
So for example, some characters like when they go into evolution forms, sometimes they unlock their Bankai, obviously, which is like an entirely new weapon. Sometimes it just unlock their Shikai mode, which is for the most part which essentially they do keep the same moveset. Like when Ichigo's evolution form, obviously that's his Bankai Tensei Zangetsu, which has a very different moveset to him just using his usual sword. Meanwhile, Rukia just unlocks Shikai Sodeno Shirayuki, which essentially just plays the same. Like, the moveset does not really change that much at all.
Okay.
However, there are some other top ways in which the characters kind of don't play very well. Like, one example I can think of in particular being Grant, one of the Arrancar characters, who for some reason starts with, I believe, 5 Kompaku points. All the other characters start with 9.
What?
So you're, as far as I'm aware, you don't get any, and there's no like benefit that really improves that. So yeah, it's not very good. So yeah. I will not be surprised if that was the least played character.
Speaking of that point, actually, have you played the multiplayer on this yet?
Against other people, I played plenty against the CPU.
Play against CPU, you haven't played against other people?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking on that one, because I was going to say, how does it run online, all that business. But...
I don't really play these. I'm not very confident with fighting games, so I don't really play these against other people. Though that being said, just in single player, it's a ton of fun.
Okay.
Like there are a ton of abilities and whatnot that you get, and it's super enjoyable.
So to sum this up, what do you think of the whole thing?
I give it on Metacritic is a 72 from critics and 8.3 from users. I think users have it. Let's give it an 8.3.
Okay. So
what's Sparking Zero comparison, Elliot? The latest DBZ one.
I would imagine I'm gonna pick
I imagine that one's gonna be bigger. Yeah, that one's got a high score. That's got an 81.
Yeah. I was right on the money. I was about to say I predict this is going to be 81.
Yeah, 81 from critics, 8.5 from users.
So let's talk. So it's time to talk about the big news items, which is all Nintendo this time round.
Yep.
So
Yay.
we had but before we did this, we can talk about the Switch 2 in a moment, but we got to talk a little bit about the Switch 1 Direct. That happened. Was an alright Direct. We heard Elliot squeeing from our own houses miles away when the big announcement of Tomodachi Life reboot came out.
Yeah, I was super happy with that.
And of course, I was really happy we got a new Rhythm Heaven coming. That looks pretty cool. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD. I mean, if you were into Dragon Quest 3 HD, that's great. I really wasn't into Dragon Quest 3 HD. So
I liked it enough.
It doesn't really appeal to me.
Well, it also got turned into our favourite anime film.
No, that was Dragon Quest 5.
That was our 5.
Yeah, that's Dragon Quest 5 story was based on.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 5 is what your story is based on. They also showed off a bit of Metroid Prime 4, like the general gameplay, and Legends EA saying that it's going to be like a Fortnite clone for the day-night cycle. The third parties were very...
We saw more Shadow Labyrinth, that weird Pac-Man Metroidvania.
Which
by Bandai.
Yeah, I'm dead into that one.
Same.
But that was a bit...
we got a re-release of Patapon 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was a bizarre thing. There was a whole bunch of Sony games that are in there that they don't really care about the franchise anymore, so they're letting Bandai Namco publish them.
And there's also the game for me in there with Demon X Machina too.
That was the next one.
I think that was a Switch 2 Direct.
That was a Switch 2 Direct.
This one.
Yeah, Switch 2 Direct was Demon X Machina sequel. Which...
Those Greece.
Which that did not...
I couldn't remember. We had two very close to each other.
Which, to be fair, Daemon X Machina 2 did not feel like it generated many talking points when the thing was done. I mean, I forgot it was in the Direct until you mentioned it.
There's a bit of talk in the mecha community because the first game was well received.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I did not like the first game.
I didn't either, Elliot. We're going to join in forces on this one.
Yeah, I mean, fair to you if you enjoyed it, but I just did not find it an insane amount of fun.
Yeah, but it was very Armored Core inspired. So if you're not a fan of old From Software games, it was hard to get into.
I mean, I liked Armored Core 6.
That plays very differently to the original games.
So
with Rise of Rubicon.
I haven't played any of the older Armored Core games.
So, I mean, it was a decent Switch 1 Direct, but it did feel like we have a bunch of games we need to put out before the Switch 2. Like, Legends EA and Metroid Prime 4 also both showed up in the Switch 2 Direct, but they were just there to say, this is what it's there, and this is what the upgrade is going to be like when you upgrade the Switch 2 version. And the Switch 2... and also, but they did get out like the general gameplay of those games. So after seeing a bit more about
what did we think about the virtual game card?
Oh yeah, that's a big thing that came out about this thing. So we'll go with that one first. I feel like that's unnecessary busy work.
No, I like it. I like it.
Okay.
It was also responsible for a lot of misinformation online.
Yeah, there was a few things.
Yeah.
I think you're getting mixed up with the key card business.
Yeah, that's the key card.
That was a bit of misinformation going on.
Yeah, this is the virtual. Yeah, it's basically the one that lets you swap game cards to different or swap games to different consoles and lets you lend them out to friends virtually.
Oh yeah,
that
system.
Now that I liked, that part I liked about it. I thought that's a good use of it. But I thought the idea of doing it between multiple Switches that you already own, that just felt like busy work at that point.
No, I like that they're doing that. It's essentially like because they know Switch 2 is coming out, and I imagine a lot of people are like me and are not wanting to put every Switch game they have on the Switch 2. So essentially, it lets you pick out the ones you want to swap over.
Yeah, I see. I see
a more easily.
There's I know some more is come. I will say I think the whole thing about that direct was it was pretty good seeing Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy Tomodachi Life's back.
Because it's been like over 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, they always made...
It's been 10 years. I've been wanting this since the Switch first came out.
And the thing is, you always saw them before Nintendo Directs, like the Tomodachi Life summoning circle. And it never happened until now. And there's, like saying... And afterwards, I quickly went onto Poorly Aged Things account to see, has he done it yet? Has he done it yet? Because this is definitely...
Yeah, I went to the Tomodachi Life subreddit after this was announced, and they were like, holy shit, it worked!
For once, it worked. Do you think this one's going to get a Switch 2 upgrade, or is this going to be just a Switch 1 game that we can play on our Switch 2?
I imagine it's gonna get the upgrade because like it's announced it's releasing next year.
Yeah, there's a 2026 release. The same with Rhythm Heaven as well. Rhythm Heaven's a 2026 release.
Mm.
But they also the direct also did confirm that once again that both Pokemon Legends DA and Metroid Prime 4 have 2025 as their release window.
My main hope with Tomodachi Life is that it has the same character creator as Miitopia for Switch.
I agree.
I stand by. The character customization in Miitopia is one of the best character customizations in gaming, period.
I hope.
Yeah, because didn't you put all of us in there, Elliot?
Sorry?
Didn't you put all of us in there?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It's a good. I mean,
it's honest to God, I love the what they did. I love the character creation from that. I really hope they translate it, bring it back over for Tomodachi Life.
It's going to be very interesting when we get our hands on that one. But of course, the big thing was the Switch 2 Direct happened. Big thing is they revealed the release date. It's June the 5th. In fact, at the time we're recording this, the exact time we're recording this, in London right now, they're having the Switch 2 experience, which we didn't get to go to, but.
Damn it. Boo. Oh, Calvin, no, with those connections, you couldn't have gotten this one.
I tried. I couldn't find a way to get us in there. But I do. The good news is, because we live in the UK, we'll get to this point later, all three of us did secure a Switch 2. So we do feel very comfortable talking about this with some excitement.
Yeah.
Yay.
Although I was the only one of us that managed to secure it with the Mario Kart World bundle. Those sold out very fast.
Yep, literally, because it was Cal who told me first on Twitter saying that this particular store had the pre-orders up, which I'm not sure we can mention for legal reasons, the name.
Yeah, for legal reasons, we won't say what the name was, because I do know they went back up last night, and I don't want them to get flooded again. But the only reason I know...
So Cal told me that he got his first. Then I went on, and the Mario Kart bundle was sold out immediately.
Yeah. I didn't notice his message to me until like 15 minutes after he sent it. So Cal had to get me my one.
Yes, I did secure Elliot his, and it is coming, but it's coming to my address on stream day. So we'll probably witness Elliot picking up his Switch 2 on stream.
Yep, I'm opening it on stream as well.
And then breaking it on stream.
But I did. I also I got some of the accessories as well because I took part in that Nintendo invite. I got invited to be part of Nintendo UK's pre-order list. Yeah. So I picked up things like the GameCube controller, the Pro controller. I also picked up the carrying case, and I also pre-ordered a couple of the games that were in the direct. Actually, no, I only pre-ordered one game because a bunch of the others don't have pre-order slots yet. And also, the other ones were upgrades to games I already have, and I can just upgrade them by putting the Switch 1 cart into the Switch 2. So, should we talk... So, I think we'll do third-party games first, and then we'll talk first-party games.
I think we should talk about the system itself first, because there was a lot of stuff that was announced there.
Yeah, but there was also some stuff that they didn't really talk about as well, that we had to get through press releases.
Well, I guess the big one being the price. Yeah, it was never in the direct.
Well, obviously you can't. Well, obviously you can't have a price in a direct that's going out to multiple nations because it's going to be different everywhere else. So, for example, in the UK, it was £379 for the version without Mario Kart, and was £429.99 for the version with Mario Kart.
Yep.
It also. In America, I believe it's $450 for the base console and something like I
think it's about $500 for the one with Mario Kart.
$500 for the one with Mario Kart right now. I don't believe this is going to change, but for reasons that we'll get into. But that's the price at the moment for the Switch 2. The system, they have a new dock. It has a cooling fan in it because they got to get this thing running at 4K when docked. It will run at...
Yeah, like, good God, that how is that for a break? Our handheld console was so powerful, it requires a fan when you plug it in.
Well, the whole thing now with the Switch 2, it's more powerful than the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
that's I found amazing.
that's really good.
That's what I found very surprising. Like even in handheld, it runs better than the Steam Deck because it's going to run at 1080p, 120 FPS. That staggered me because I was like, how are you going to get this? What games? I mean, I imagine only Nintendo first-party games are going to take advantage of this. But
we know Metroid Prime 4 will run 120 FPS.
Yeah, in the quality mode or handheld mode. My monitors don't go up to 120 FPS. At least my home one doesn't. So I probably will be playing in quality mode rather than performance mode. But again, that's not a problem because 4K 60 on
That's insane. That's so mad. Like that play PS5 games that don't go that high.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
And you could say, well, the Metroid Prime 4 is designed to work on the Switch, so it's not surprising you get it up to 60, the 4K 60 on the Switch too. But I'm with Scott the Woz on this one. I think there is some impressiveness to that.
Oh, massively, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and again, they did also point out about the mouse functionality of the Joy-Cons. Only 2 games they've really talked about it for so far. One being Metroid Prime 4, which will probably be the way I actually play that game.
Yeah, because it's going to make playing FPS games a lot easier.
And
I'm gonna play that. Like, play it. I'm probably gonna go back and forth with using the mouse and the controller.
Yeah, there's the wheelchair basketball game that Nintendo showed off. That's meant to be coming out this year, but it doesn't look very good.
Yeah, it looked very basic from what we saw.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and say we're gonna see more of it. Like, I imagine we're gonna get I'm more theorizing like we're going to be able to customize our wheelchairs and like have more stages than just the black void.
Put it this way, I think we'll see more of it in a June Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, because I fully I don't know. Do you guys agree with me or not on this? I think we're going to get a Nintendo Direct about 2 or 3 weeks after the Switch 2 comes out that will highlight what the release schedule is for the rest of the year.
Because so far, all the releases we've got, like the things that have a release date, is only like a couple of months after the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, they had a lot of games where they said 2025 or 2026, but they didn't put a release date on that one. So yeah, for the 2026 ones, obviously, you don't need to put a release date on that just now. But the 2025 ones, they need a release date soonish.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I?
The other big one is the game chat function.
Yeah, Nintendo essentially invented Discord for themselves in a way that I don't think anyone's going to use it because I think they'll just stick to Discord.
Yeah, especially because you have to pay for it as well. Don't forget, it's tied into your Nintendo Online.
Not for the first year. The first year it's free.
Yeah, but after the first year, that C button on all your controllers will not work unless you pay Nintendo.
Yeah, and also like. The NSO was free for like over a year as well before we had to start paying for it. It's just a Nintendo thing. I think it's just a way to entice people to like a function, and then incentivize people to pay for it.
Okay, so here's the thing though: most people that are going to own a Switch 2 will have an NSO account. For example, everyone who got it on Nintendo UK's website on Tuesday when those pre-orders went up. They have an NSO account because you needed one to be put into that invite.
Yeah, literally.
So I don't imagine it's that big a deal. Like, is it tied to just the regular NSO or is it tied to the expansion pass?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
It's just the original one.
Yeah, Elliot, look, as soon as you know the answer to that, let me know, Elliot, because I'd say it's not egregious if it's tied to the basic one, because that's £17 a year.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more egregious if it was tied to the expansion pass.
Yeah, because that really jacks up the price for a lot of families.
Isn't that like £35, £40 a year? I can't remember what I'm paying on that.
Yeah. It's a fair whack.
I think it's a little bit under £40 a year for us.
Yeah.
Like 37 or something like that.
I think that's it. It's £37 a year. But for what you get for £37 a year, I think it's worth it.
I'm going to say now, I think it'll be tied to the expansion pass. Specifically because you need the NSO to even use it.
Yeah, but you do get NSO with the base model, for example.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you want to like just have if you want to have the game chat thing, to come with NSO, I imagine it's going to be expansion pass.
Okay, yeah, no, I could see that
And
happening.
you do need an NSO to even use it. So there's not much point in saying we're going to start charging for it and putting it in the normal NSO if you already need NSO to use it.
And let's face it, the thing that draws me to NSO is not the game chat. It's not going to be the game chat. It's going to be the online multiplayer and the classic games that we get with it.
Yeah.
More on that later.
But also, just want to move on with the whole thing. We also saw the video camera feed at the bottom for Mario Kart World. It ran at like 10 FPS.
Yeah, it looks rough. It looks like a fucking Windows webcam from like 2005.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things where I was like, I do not see myself using this that much. And from what we gathered, you can just plug in any WebMD camera, I believe they said.
Yeah.
So, other than that, we know it tells us a lot we already knew. It's a much bigger screen this time. I think it's like 8 inches screen. It's an LCD screen this time rather than OLED, but I can imagine we're going to get an OLED model in about 3 or 4 years' time.
Yeah, you can imagine that.
The Joy-Cons are obviously bigger, but they connect via magnets rather than the rail thing that we have on the current Switch 1.
Which
I was going to say also about the joysticks as well on them now. They still aren't magnetic, so they will drift in time.
Right.
And that's been confirmed.
So you might want to buy some extra Joy-Cons when they become available.
Yeah, or just in the future, keep it in mind. And because all this extra tech in the Joy-Cons now would be magnetic, like you just mentioned, that's going to make them cost even more than the original Switch Joy-Cons.
That's going to be an issue, definitely. But I do think before we go into like the game selection, do you guys think, in terms of like for us in the UK, we'll leave America out of this thing for now. In terms of the UK, the current price of the Switch 2, do you think it's fair or do you think it's overpriced?
I personally think it was fair, because when we were watching the Direct, looking at the tech in it, I thought it was going to be like 400 quid minimum for just the base model.
Elliot?
I think maybe have like lessen the price a little bit, like maybe like, I don't know, just 20 quid. Make it that solid 350, 400. But yeah, aside from that, I think it's like a perfectly priced.
I'll be honest, I was with Reese. I was anticipating a £400 system. But so for what we got, I think £379 without the game is pretty good, and £420 for the version with Mario Kart is excellent.
Yeah, because going off my experience with the tech in it, I was expecting more, just because the global supply chains still haven't fully bounced back after COVID. So a lot of these raw materials from Africa and Asia are still a lot harder to source. So that's why I think they're going to put the prices up.
But that being said, they have a decent amount. Apparently, that's the reason why it didn't come out last year and it's coming out this year. They wanted to make sure they had a decent supply going out to the world. And so we'll start with the third party games. So we'll do the third party games that got announced. And the first one they showed off was Elden Ring.
To everyone's surprise.
That was the first instance of me screaming.
Yeah. That's not going to be a launch title, but the fact it's even coming on the system and looks that good.
It's also getting bonus content as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming with the DLC built in.
And also with new weapons and armor. Not in the original game.
And you can also customize a torrents look.
I think so that was more than enough to get me to say, yeah, I'm going to buy the Switch 2 version. Launched in terms of launch day, we got Street Fighter 6. Deltarune, including chapters 3 and 4.
Oh, with the Street Fighter, it's bundling in the first 2 years worth of DLC as well.
Yes, in fact, we just got a trailer last night that say that Elena's coming on June the 5th as well.
I've not seen that trailer, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Elena, the last fighter of year 1, is coming in Year 2, sorry, is coming in on the day of the Switch 2 release. So she will be there on day 1 as well. They also announced free Street Fighter amiibo. The collection hunting never ends. There's what else was up? We had Cyberpunk's coming day 1, Cyberpunk 2077.
That's really cool.
And all on the cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord knows how expensive that cart's going to be for them.
Yeah, because often with the Switch 2 carts, they jumped up in size, like go from 2 gigabytes to 64 gigabyte cards. So I imagine it'll be a 64 gigabyte card with a lot of compression on it.
It is. Yeah, they've confirmed that.
I mean, see Project Red Already did kind of show it off by having The Witcher 3 natively on the cart, so they kind of like wanted to one-up themselves this time with Cyberpunk.
So
yeah, from that Cyberpunk trailer though, I'm not sure, are they including the DLC with it as well? Or
yes,
yes, they are. It's labeled as the Ultimate Edition.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure. Adding Liberty, the Phantom Liberty or whatever the DLC was called.
Yeah, you see Idris Elba, so you know you're getting the DLC with it.
Yeah.
What about? There was also a couple. There's a few. Borderlands 4 was confirmed for it. Hades 2 is going to launch later this year and be a Switch.
Which I'm excited for.
It'll be a Switch 2 timed exclusive.
So just same as the original one.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it worked last time.
Big one for me, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut.
That'll be a launch day one as well. That looks really good.
We're getting one of the best Yakuza games with new cutscenes and an English dub. That's so sick.
Which makes me wonder if they'll start putting the rest on there, Elliot, like the recent Pirate one. Do you think that could run on Switch too?
I don't know about that one. I imagine they'll be able to put all the Kiryu-based games on. And maybe like the first Ichiban game, but the ones after that I'm not entirely sure.
I wouldn't believe it would be impossible to downscale, like for example, Infinite Wealth. I wouldn't believe it's impossible to downscale that one to run on Switch 2.
Yeah.
What about let's call it? Civ 7 is confirmed to come with mouse functionality,
which is very useful. Since I play Switch 6 on the Switch, and that was rough with just the standard sticks.
You already mentioned a new Daemon X Machina is coming out.
New Daemon X Machina.
So that's got the mech community very excited.
They also showed up. They showed off a couple of Split Fiction. We already talked about. That's coming day 1.
Yeah.
So will you guys double dip on that? Do you reckon?
Probably not.
Nah.
What about there was a Final Fantasy VII remake is confirmed to be coming.
Just the first one, not Rebirth.
Yeah, it's still massive though.
Yeah, and Rebirth's going to take some effort to get that one to run on Switch too. They
007 game.
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, from the creators of Hitman, which is IO Interactive.
Yeah, they're also getting a game on here as well.
Yeah, Hitman's coming on.
I think with Hitman, it's the first 3 games in one package.
I think Beat 'em Up said how insane it is that on Switch we got Hitman 3, but as a cloud game.
Yeah.
And now we're getting like all 3 of the games just on the Switch cards natively onto it. That's sick.
It does show like the leap in technology that's going from Switch 1 to Switch 2.
Yeah, a lot of these just feel like Nintendo's showing off. Like it's basically saying, look what can run on Switch 2.
There was a bit of that, but I mean, there was somewhere they are going to run on Switch 1 as well. So, for example, Hollow Knight Silk Song was in this. That got a 2025 release window. I'll believe it when I see it.
Literally.
There was also a couple of other third-party things, but there was a couple of third-party things that were in there as well. But the big one to really talk about is FromSoft are bringing a brand new franchise with Miyazaki directing it.
The Dusk Bloods.
The Dusk Bloods, which we were all thinking when we were watching it, is this Bloodborne 2?
Yeah, I was hoping, but I didn't get my hopes. I didn't majorly get my hopes up because I saw the star. I was just like, no, it can't be. It can't be on this. Nah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was thinking at the time, it's surely it's not Bloodborne 2.
Yeah.
And Then, that being said, the Dustbloods looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing like basically another Elden Ring Night Rain.
Definitely looks like it's a bit more closer to like Bloodborne and Elden Ring than it is Night Rain. But there's definitely elements of Night Rain coming into this one. And again, Miyazaki is overseeing this, so this one's personal for him.
Which is different because he didn't oversee Night Rain.
He's not overseeing Night Rain, no.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Also, has it been confirmed if this is switched to exclusive or just a timed exclusive?
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it has been confirmed. Yeah, it is coming exclusively.
Yes, and Nintendo's publishing it as well.
Yeah.
So that is a major drawing point for Switch 2. That's a lot of people want to... even if they're not getting it this year, they're going to pick it up next year to play that one.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So that was probably one of the trailers that impressed me the most, and we didn't even see that much of the game.
No.
So
because we found out more in interviews afterwards, it's going to be PvPvE.
Yeah,
that is an interesting idea. So
it's also a mouthful.
So let's talk about. So I think that's the only other thing I found weird is some of the third parties. The download only makes sense, like those key cards that you were mentioning, Reese. But some of them are a bit weird. Like, I remember I only found this out because of Scott the Woz's video. Bravely Default, which everyone thought was a Final Fantasy IX remake at first, because that is download only. And I'm like, what? Why? Why could you not get that on a cartridge? That is not that big of a file size. It's a 3DS game, for crying out loud.
Yep, I know, because I've actually got on 3DS. It's not that big of a game.
What about?
I think it's a Square Enix cutting corners, like cutting costs down.
Like, for example, Street Fighter 6. That makes sense.
Yeah.
To be
because there's so much DLC for it as well.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6 makes sense, but Bravely Default feels like a bit of a weird one.
Like again, Cyberpunk's coming on the card.
I think it's the expense of manufacturing that might be something to do with it, but I still don't get it with Bravely Default. Like,
same.
So the first party wise, I mean, we got to talk a lot of first party great games that were coming out in the first year. So we'll talk about the one that opened the thing, Mario Kart World. God, that game looks amazing.
It really does.
Wild, like holy shit.
Like I mean, essentially making Mario Kart Forza Horizon. I mean, that is unbelievable. And they're sort of putting in a battle royale mode. They're putting in free roam, great online multiplayer. I so want to get my hands on Mario Kart World.
But it has got one major flaw, though, guys.
The price.
DK. What have they done to him?
Oh, the redesign.
Donkey Kong.
I will say the redesign is growing on me.
It's not offensively bad. I will say that much.
But we went from such a great, iconic design to this guy.
They essentially they basically made him look more like the Mario movie design.
Yeah. I will say another thing, though, is 84 characters at launch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one that hasn't been confirmed yet is Diddy Kong. And there's speculation that he's been taken out of the game because of the rapper's criminal charges.
Oh.
There's quite a few that haven't been confirmed. Like the Koopalings aren't back. Kamek isn't back.
Yet.
So there's still quite a few, yeah.
But what I find surprising, none of those have been confirmed yet. We've been confirmed we're getting Moo Moo Meadow Cow.
And the dolphin with the goggles, that's been confirmed as well.
Yeah.
Yep. But as Ali was just saying, it's not even labelled Moo Moo the cow, it's just cow in the character select.
Just cow.
It's my favourite Mario character.
But so other new characters we have seen, though, we have seen Hammer Bros come back.
Hammer Bros is in. Yeah. I think the course design looks pretty good from what we've seen so far, and they're borrowing a bit from Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing Transformed with the.
Which is what I mentioned in the group chat.
Yeah.
And Sega's pissed.
I do like the fact, though, the rail grinding looks pretty good, and so does the wall traveling. That looks pretty good.
I like that one race goes seamlessly into the other.
Yeah.
Like you literally drive off one course and go into the next one. That's like a really, really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a new way the Grand Prix works. So it's still the 4 courses per cup, but you now drive between each course.
what I'd love is if they do the voting system on online multiplayer and you could get a course that's on the other side of the world. That could be really damn interesting if they go down that route. Because if it's free roam, then presumably everyone can just drive there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll have to...
They've also taken out kart customizability.
I don't mind that.
So we're back to just a single kart now.
Which I don't mind that, honestly.
Nah, me neither. I kind of felt like it was a bit of a faux customization most of the time. I'm glad we're sticking to just a choice of karts like Wii.
Yeah, because it got to the point with the Switch, with Mario Kart 8 Online now, everyone was testing per patch the best combination, and they just stick with that anyway. So it didn't have variety.
So one of the things I like, I mean, if the choice was way more characters and no kart customization, I would have taken way more characters every time.
Yeah,
definitely.
We're going to get more information because there's a Mario Kart Direct on the 17th of April.
Yeah, which I believe is the first time it's had its own exclusive Direct.
No. There was
8 did, but I don't think it was that good from what I heard.
No, 8. They did one for 8, but it was a bit of a joke Direct.
Right.
That's the reason why no one remembers it. So yeah, but this will be the first one that's dead serious, and they're going to go over like the features of it. Presumably it'll go more into the online multiplayer as well. I can't imagine this will be a long Direct, like 15 minutes at most.
Yeah. Well, unless they decide to do it as like also announcing the characters to stretch it out a bit.
That could stretch it out a bit.
I think it'll be like going through all the courses.
What does Bowser's Castle look like? What does Rainbow Road look like? My only issue with this is because it's probably not going to get any DLC as a result. There's also this setup does make it almost impossible to bring back old courses.
Well, we have seen with hands-on demos now they brought back a few old courses, but they've really redesigned them so they don't look anything similar.
That's where I was.
The last one I saw recently was Choco Mountain from N64,
which is a good course.
But now it's all industrialized and the track is completely different.
But at that point, it's like, well, what's the point of bringing it back? Because
I don't mind it that much. I don't mind that much, honestly. Like taking that kind of courses and like sort of reshaping them a little bit. I mean, it already kind of did that with the whole anti-grav thing.
That's, to be fair, Elliot is right on that one. But I will also probably at the time when we actually get our hands on the game, we're not going to be bothered by that. It's a new Mario Kart.
Yeah. First Mario Kart game in over a decade.
One of the things they're talking about there was, but another big talking point was the Switch 2 upgrade. So some games are getting free upgrades. Those being things like Mario. The ones that confirmed were things like Super Mario Odyssey and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Bloody well needs it.
Yeah. I know ARMS is getting one for some reason.
ARMS is getting it. Some weird ones are getting them. Like there's somewhere I was like, really? That's getting a Switch 2 upgrade?
Yeah.
There are some coming with substantial content and increases. So those are the launch ones are going to be The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And down the line we're going to get Kirby and the Forgotten Land with some extra DLC. Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. And we're going to what are the end? What else did they have? They had Metro Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends EA when they come out later this year. They will come with paid upgrades.
Yeah.
Though I believe if you have Expansion Pass, those upgrades are free.
The Zelda ones are.
They haven't confirmed yet about Kirby and Pokemon and Metroid yet.
I think they would have. I imagine they would have confirmed it with the Zelda ones. I think those ones are going to be ones that you're going to have to pay for.
I think it's about £10 is the upgrade.
The Zelda ones are like, at least in America, from what I saw, they're like $10. The bigger ones like Kirby and Mario Party are going to be like 20.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's 20 quid, let's say 17 quid for like adjustment for the Brits. 17 quid for an upgrade, I think is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because with the Kirby one, they're apparently doing a lot of new levels for it as well with the whole meteor mechanic.
And the Mario Party Jamboree, they're adding an entire new mode for like the mouse for like the mouse controls and the camera.
Yeah, so is there any that you guys aren't going to pick up of these upgrades in terms of, like, we'll forget the free ones. Let's say the charged ones for now. So, obviously you guys are picking up Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4.
I mean, yeah.
That's a given. What about Kirby, the Zelda game? The Zelda games are going to be free with the expansion pass, so we'll get those anyway.
Yeah.
Kirby and Mario Party. Are you guys picking up either of those or both of those?
I will be picking up the Kirby one because I really love that game.
Yeah, Kirby is a definite, Mario's a maybe.
I'm saying Mario's a maybe, Kirby's a definite.
Yeah, because the last time we tried to play Mario Party, it was a disaster.
That's because we weren't able to. We didn't know that you couldn't do like multiple switches.
Do you know what? Yeah. I'll double check this time. Another thing a bit of misinformation that did get out was that the cart would contain a Switch 1 cart with a download for the upgrade. We now know that's not the case. Nintendo themselves have said both versions are on the Switch 2 cart that you get.
Yeah.
So close that one down. We know that you buy the Switch 2 physical version, you are getting the Switch 2 version.
Yeah.
That's great news. Other things that showed up in this, there was first party. We had new Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. Because unlike Age of Calamity, this one's canon.
Yeah,
this was actually labeled as canon, which I'm upset Age of Calamity wasn't. I'm actually, as strange as it may sound, I would have liked a game where the main character's lost.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone who's played Crisis Core will tell you that you can get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
So this one is how it's going to end if it's canonical, because considering what happened, without spoiling much of what happens in Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda is going to lose.
Well, she wins, but also loses.
So, yeah, little column A, little column B. But, I mean, as a Hyrule Warriors game on Switch 2, I'm interested to see how that's going to run.
Yeah, since when we reviewed the original one, it did not run that well.
Not great. It wasn't great.
It went all right.
It got worse at the end because I completed the game 100%. You guys didn't. And at the end, they started throwing massive waves of enemies at you.
No, I'd be Age of Calamity 100%.
Oh, yeah.
What's it? To recreate a little robot?
Yeah.
Oh, because at the time you told me you didn't.
I did. In all fairness, that was years ago. I did go back and get it.
Right, yeah.
And I haven't done all the DLC, though.
Okay, so, what do you... I mean, Elliot, you're the big Warriors guy, and especially Hyrule Warriors. What do you think of the look of this one?
It's more Hyrule Warriors. Of course, I'm going to be excited. It's especially interesting as I'm assuming we're going to have entirely new characters as well. Like, we already know King Roru is going to be in there, but there are going to be like a bunch of others that maybe we didn't even see in Tears of the Kingdom.
I think they have to, because if you think about it, like the timeline when this takes place, it's got it. There's not that much option. Like, you can't really, unless you want to do some extra DLC what if scenarios. Mm-hmm. You can't really bring in Link or the guard or the sages. Anything like that. Well, obviously you can get one of the sages, but again, don't want to say too much. But I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with this one. And a 2025 release date, that seriously surprised me.
Yeah.
I thought this would be... I looked at the trailer and thought, that's 2026. And then they had the 2025. I was like, okay, we're getting this in 2025. The other ones they showed off, they had... big one for me, Kirby Air Riders.
I'll say, because I was putting out in chat.
I never played the original Kirby Air Riders, but it does...
So good.
Yeah, I had heard mixed things. I had heard some mixed things about it, but a lot of people who love it really love it.
Yeah.
It's and Masahiro Sakurai's directing it.
Yeah, he's actually coming back for it.
From what I also think that, I mean, we haven't seen much gameplay of it, but they have really put a 2025 card on there, so that's coming out this year.
I mean, who thought one of the first games we get for Switch would be a sequel to Kirby Air Ride, a game that came out 22 years ago that not that many people remember.
Well, from what I think this is really Sakurai said. I think what's happened here is, and this is speculation. I don't have any evidence for this. Sakurai said, "I will do Smash Brothers if you give me Kirby Air Riders," because this is a project that I've actually really wanted to do another one of.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that was the scenario. I say no evidence for this whatsoever.
And also, Sakurai, he deserves something fun. He deserves to develop like a fun little game.
Actually, that's a good point. Actually, I just had a thought of. Was Smash Brothers on that list of games that are getting a Switch upgrade?
No.
That's,
Unless it was added afterwards.
that shocks me because I think you could have done a resolution bump with that one.
Yeah, so maybe they included it afterwards, but not during that initial trailer. I don't think they did.
Because I can't imagine we're going to get the Switch 2 Smash Brothers anytime soon. Like, I imagine this is 2 or 3 years into the console's life.
Yeah, so people could just play the original.
So I think that would have been something to tie people over that are going to play the Smash Ultimate on their Switch 2. I know I am.
Yeah.
So back to while we're looking this up, back to other first-party things that were shown off. Big one for Elliot, GameCube coming back to NSO.
Actually, the one I was going to bring up first, so big massive one for all of us. The Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
Oh, yeah. That thing that should have been a pack-in title that is...
Yeah, everyone's saying that. Why the fuck are we paying for this shit?
Like, I think it's something like £7 in the UK.
Yeah, and it's literally just a tutorial that talks about the console.
What is the point of that? Just make that a pack-in.
Literally, because it's not like it's even a full game like Astro's Playroom was.
Like, I'll give you an example. I was actually watching that direct, and I said, "How is?" I was like, "Okay, well, this is the pack-in title," and then they came up with "will be available for purchase," and I'm like, "What? Why?" I mean, admittedly, I'm gonna buy it because I just want to see.
Of course you are.
I'm 100% that bitch, but I was thinking because I am gonna say afterwards. There is, unless you're curious, there is no reason to purchase this. I reckon I'm going to end up saying. Although I have heard some of the mini games are quite good from the people that tried them.
It's also in the world's shortest written review for you.
Yeah, not worth it. Next, GameCube coming to NSO.
I legit started hyperventilating when I first saw this.
The expansion pass, only 3 games at launch. I got it wrong when I said on stream that there was going to be 4. Only 3 at launch.
Wind Waker's, F-Zero GX, and Soul Calibur 2.
That one
which
shocked
is
me.
Wild. Like, Soul Calibur 2 is so fucking wild. It also means that now 2 of the 3 GameCube games on NSL feature Link.
That is I also think it's very interesting that they picked 2 games that involve multiplayer for the start of that one. Yeah. They also announced a GameCube controller that you can purchase for it. Be warned, if you are like me and have purchased the GameCube wireless GameCube controller, it only works on the GameCube app. It doesn't work in other games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a surprise.
You think they like you'd be able to use it for like Smash Bros at least?
It did come with a disclaimer. I mean, that being said, they could update it later to work with some games. But right now, at launch, it's only going to work on the GameCube classics.
That's annoying.
Yeah, that's very surprised by that. Because didn't the original Switch have a Smash GameCube controller?
It did, yes.
It did, but that was wired.
You had to connect
it. There were a bunch of other ones, but I think they were done by third-party companies and just licensed by Nintendo.
Yeah, and this with the GameCube ones that you're referring to, Reese, you needed to buy an adapter, a USB adapter. I know this because I own that one.
Also, when you look at the games that are coming up later, wow, it's an insane lineup.
Yeah, so
Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum. Holy shit, that looks just awesome.
XD Gale of Darkness is there.
I already mentioned XD, yeah.
The weird one is though, 2 games that I noticed that weren't there. One that I'm not surprised isn't there because it's actually a bit of a because it's one Nintendo doesn't really like to talk about. But the one that did surprise me, no Smash Melee.
Yeah.
The one I was surprised by was no Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart Double Dash didn't make the list either. That was very surprising.
Every other NSO system has always come with a Mario Kart day one.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I would think that Mario Kart is going to be one of the ones on there. Because if you do it that way, you've then got most of the series on Switch too.
Yeah, it's just the DS games like that and 7, which aren't on.
DS and 7 would be the only ones you wouldn't be able to play on there. I mean, give it time. I reckon DS is going to be one of the systems they're bringing over at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Which is going to be a funny direct where it opens with just the Nintendogs showing up.
But this adds extra stuff that they can do now for NSO. Like every couple of months, we could say, "Oh, here's a new GameCube game. Oh, by the way, we haven't got anything for N64, but we've got this thing for GameCube, or we got this thing for Game Boy Advance." So it is going to make. I mean, weirdly, today, the day we recorded this, we got 3 new Sega Mega Drive games come on out of nowhere. That was a bizarre one to wake up to. Although, with the selection you see in the moment, Elliot, is there anything that you think that wasn't on the list? I wouldn't mind if they put that on there.
Well, Melee, obviously.
Yeah.
What else? There were a couple others.
I got 2 in my head right now.
I have 2.
The original Kirby Air Ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I also thought, this is a bit of a weird one and out there, but I don't think Nintendo will do it. Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, they could do a bit. I think they might have a hard time formatting it into the Switch system.
Yeah, because essentially you've got to have like the sanity effects are not going to play that well, like on a handheld one. I also found it weird. Chibi Robo was there, which was great to see. There's a couple I think we can throw that are not coming to the system. I don't think Metroid Prime 1 because of that HD version. Although I think 2 and 3 have a chance.
None of the Mario Party games were announced.
That's surprising as well. The Mario Party games on GameCube are really good. We've played them on some of the Hangouts. I also found it surprising we don't see. There's a bunch there like Geist wasn't on there.
Well, the big ones for me were the Star Wars Rogue Squadron GameCube games.
There's a whole thing they've got to go through calling up Disney for that one.
Yeah. So that's not a big barrier.
I wouldn't mind if they put the original Super Monkey Ball on there if they want to call up Sega for that one.
Yeah. Did they announce Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion was in the list.
Yeah, was on the list, right?
So there's some good ones in there, but there's somewhere. Also, we don't know where they're going to approach Twilight Princess. Will they approach that one for the GameCube classics?
Or save it for the Wii emulator down the line.
Yeah. I'm still holding out hope that they do release the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD bundle.
I could see them doing it. I really could see it, because I think they could say, you could play the original GameCube one. Here's the updated HD one, that we're putting on. And it would be a good way to sort of bolster up like the Switch 1 library for the people that aren't going to get this thing at launch, for example, or are going to wait a while to get it.
Yeah.
Because I think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, they can run on the original Switch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, easily.
Okay.
They were both on Wii, for God's sake.
Yeah, okay.
They're also both on GameCube.
Let's talk about the original, but let's talk about the big one at the end. The Mario Odyssey team doing Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah. Really
surprised me, because I was dead set that it was going to be a 3D Mario that would end the Direct.
I think everyone was.
So, but we've been hearing about this game for ages, and I thought it wasn't real at one point, but they've proven me wrong, and wow, does it look amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away, because I was out in the group chat saying how much of this world is destructible, because DK was just tearing through the entire environment.
So much of the world was just like, was just being completely demolished.
Yeah, I watched.
He's able to carve tunnels, pick massive chunks of it up and throw it.
I was watching the Treehouse Live, and seeing how much of that environment was destructible was like mind-boggling. Like, this is truly Nintendo going up a level with their game design with this one. Like,
they've essentially made Wreck-It Ralph the video game.
Exactly, yeah. And you look at it and go, right, you could not make this on Switch 1. It would not be powerful enough to do it.
Yeah.
So to come out with that's a really good proof of concept. I mean, it's not making the release date. It is coming in July, but
which I think is just fair from the technical aspect of it.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel like just having Mario Kart there makes a lot of sense. I think the two would actually cannibalize each other in terms of sales. Whereas I think having Mario Kart launch and then saying, okay, wait a month and now we'll have Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll probably see more of it in what we're speculating as a June Direct. But from what I've seen so far, Donkey Kong Bonanza has become one of my most anticipated games of the year.
Yeah, same. Because it just was like a spiritual successor to DK64.
One downside about it, though, they gave him pants.
I know. What?
0 out of 10.
I'll tell you one thing as well, though. One of the great things, I'll bring it back up to 10 out of 10. The sound effect when he gets the bananas. Ooh, banana. I brought that back. I love it.
Yeah, that brings it up to a 2.
So so how are you in terms of excitement? Are you guys excited for the Switch 2 at this point in time?
Oh, very.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? This looks sick.
This is the most hyped I've ever been for a console launch ever, I think.
I think the same. I'm really hyped for the Switch 2. I will say one thing, as you wouldn't have believed that if you'd been on Twitter a couple of days after the Switch 2 Direct.
Because there was a lot of misinformation being spread around by a lot of big profiles.
But it was also a lot of people bitching about this thing in ways that I thought not really that much for criticism. So
yeah.
Put it this way: I had to when I was watching the Treehouse Live, I had to turn off the chat because there was people spamming drop the price, and I was like, I know that you're kind of on something with this one in terms of the game prices.
Mostly with Mario Kart, I think. Because Mario Kart has been listed as like $80 up there.
Yeah, but it was also when Donkey Kong Bonanza, they were doing it still then. So I was like, right, you guys are getting on my nerves now. I'm turning this off.
Yeah, especially since Nintendo confirmed DK Bonanza will not cost as much as Mario Kart Worlds.
Yeah, no, that's $70. And let's be honest, I think what's happened, and I think I like the some of the. And the thing is, though, it's selling really well. In all the regions that have opened up pre-orders, it's doing very well. Like in the UK, it's selling quite well. And scalpers, and it's not getting over scalped either.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the sites we got them from have only been letting people put one in their cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo did one per customer. I know someone who got one from HMV, and they were only allowing one per customer.
Well, it was also the same with the side that me and Cal went on, which is why Linda had to get yours, Elliot.
Yeah.
There was, and we actually said I would use the invite that I had. If that didn't work, we were going to use the invites that me and Reese got to get your one, Elliot.
Yeah.
If
I bought myself in for invites as well.
Yeah.
It's I will. Oh, did you get the invite as well, Elliot?
Yeah, I did, but I already had you already secured mine, so I thought, now I'm good.
Okay, no problem. I'm just glad you got one because you deserve one as well, considering how much money and time you've put into Nintendo, man.
Yeah. This is big.
So I would say that, and of course, it's not opened up for pre-orders in the US and Canada. Canada didn't do it because they wanted to time with the US. The US was because of the tariff hikes on Vietnam and China. Now, one of those
46% at the time,
which was 46% from Vietnam at the time. Now China still does have those price hikes, but Vietnam has been suspended for 90 days, which is going to take us past the Switch 2 launch. So that says to me that they are going to go ahead with the normal price and then maybe do a price hike after that fact, depending on what the markets are. And speculation I've heard is that those regions will launch their pre-orders next week after the Mario Kart Direct.
Yeah.
Which I think
because the whole point with Nintendo moving production to Vietnam was to avoid the tariffs in the first place.
Yeah.
They end up getting screwed over by them anyway.
I will say though, they have to. What I was hearing being speculated was a worldwide delay because of the tariffs, or a just America delay for the tariffs, and I don't think either of those are feasible at this point.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, that's Nintendo's whole year gone.
Yeah.
Like, what would they have if they don't get the Switch 2 out this year, or in the first 6, or they have to wait 6 months for it? You'd only have Pokemon and Metroid, and that's not enough to sustain things. So I think they have to do it. I think the fact that keeping on doing it will put that one out of mind. I think they will open up. The one I've also heard is that Nintendo of America are going to open up their invite launches in May. But again, that one could change as we go along. But I think, but the good news is that it does look like it's going to go ahead in America relatively soon. So we will be able to play with our American friends. And we know for a fact that, based on the interviews we heard with Doug Bowser, there are at least a couple of million units in America already.
Yeah, so that happened at the end of February. The plant from Vietnam shipped out just under 1 million units, and they got flown in.
And I think we know a couple more have come in since then.
Yeah, but because Switch 2 has been made from 3 different plants.
Yeah.
So we had a major one from Vietnam at the minute.
What about? Okay, here's one for you. What do you think of Doug Bowser's statement about the Switch, about people that can't afford the Switch 2 right now?
That also got taken out of context, and people lied about the quotes.
I'm glad you said that, because I said that got taken out of context. This is no way similar to what happened with the Xbox One quote.
So what Doug Bowser actually said, if you watch the clip and listen to him, that he knows people won't be able to afford the Switch 2. That's why they are still producing new content against for the Switch 1. They're going to carry that on. He didn't say anything about mocking people not being able to afford the Switch 2. It's just saying, we know people can't in this financial situation, so we're going to keep supporting the Switch 1. So those players who can't afford to will still get new content.
Like, yeah, as we just mentioned, they're going to get Metroid Prime 4, they're going to get Pokemon Legends EA. Those are two cool. And as much as I said
Song.
Oh, yes. And as much as I said those are not enough to sustain Nintendo for the year, those are good releases.
Yeah.
And again, Tomodachi Life, that's in next year. That is a huge deal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm thinking. I don't think this is the same as with the Xbox. If they don't want to be connected to the internet, they should just get an Xbox 360, because that was them deliberately mocking people having a problem with very bad digital rights media policies that made that console not appealing.
Yeah, it's the same what we saw with also Blizzard when they did Diablo Immortal, with the whole picture of, do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, that one. That's always a classic.
Yeah,
always a classic.
So I feel like I'm glad we all got our Switches secured, because that direct and all the information has got me hyped to play this thing.
Same.
Yeah, definitely.
And the weird thing is, we're doing an Axia post-diagnostic support group on the day before it all comes out. So where it's going to be after that one, we're going to try and have one last go of Mario Kart, the last multiplayer session we'll do together on our Switch Ones. How do we feel? The Switch One's at its sunset. How do we feel about the Switch One's legacy?
I think it has an amazing legacy.
I'd say it's one of Nintendo's best consoles, easily.
I agree. I think it's up there with the GameCube and the Super Nintendo as like their top consoles.
Yeah. In my opinion, it surpassed them all just for the sheer game library.
In fact, one of the things we're going to do one of the things I was considering for our May episode was we would actually write down our top 10 favorite Switch One games.
Well, that's easy in my case. Half of it is just Xenoblade.
So we'll so with all that being said, we'll be back next month. We'll be talking obviously about, we already mentioned the Blueprints and South of Midnight, but other talking points will be Claroscura Expedition 33.
The 100 line Last Defense Academy.
Probably the last eShop purchase I'm going to make on my Switch.
Actually, I don't know if we'll be doing. Yeah, we won't. Never mind. Oh yeah, the Midnight Walk.
The Midnight Walk's coming out. Yep.
Yeah, that's a really adorable claymation one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not adorable. It looks very Tim Burton-esque.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. It's adorable. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have very different definitions of the word adorable. I'm just checking if there's anything else. Oh yeah, the Fatal Fury I'll be able to talk about. Then and we'll probably get it done, and that'll probably be it because we're gonna be finished before we get to things like Elden Ring Night Rain coming out or Doom the Dark Ages.
Yeah, that's the end of May. Doom Dark Ages.
Yeah, so we'll tie those two onto our Switch 2 discussion that month.
Yeah.
In fact, we might have to do a separate one just for the Switch 2, to be honest.
Probably.
That's fine with me because there'll be a lot to talk about.
So we'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Okay,